swing it. Derek Common. Swing it. Derek Common. That leaves, we have a double oven. So that leaves a double oven open for everything else.
Right.
Terps, what did you do to your microphone, dude? It looks like you're breathing heavily on that one area.
Camera. It's this. There's like a smudge on it. I can't get rid of it. So I'm just gonna be. Wait, hold on. Let me try something. I don't know if it'll work. Fixed it.
There we go.
That better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna smoke a turkey this year, just because it lets us, like, you know, we did that for Thanksgiving. It worked out really well because we were able to smoke a turkey, and then also able to have the ovens open for stuffing, sides, warming, that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, just so you know, we're good.
We're good. All right.
I'm up.
We're up. All right. Look, we're gonna stop Mr. Buble. I know my chat's gonna hate the Terps Radio's ending. We'll be back next week for Terps Radio. Craig is recording. Zencaster is recording for the first time in a month, ladies and gentlemen. Off the Fair Poll is back. We took a little bit of a intended, unintended break. Just happened. It's been a really busy month for everybody. Everybody. It's been crazy. I've had a lot of shit I have to deal with. Derek's a lot of shit he had to deal with. We had the event happen, so that happened. You know, holidays snuck up on everybody ×2. Thanksgiving and now Christmas sneaking up on everybody again. Baseball off season's been going on, so there's been a lot that's been happening. So we took an unintended break, but we're back, and we're gonna be a little 2-part episode for y'all today. So get your drinks, get your beer, get your sodas, get your snacks. We're gonna be here for a little bit and having some fun. But we got Derek, we got Dyer, we got myself, we got Choppy in spirit, and our editor Gnome always in spirit here with us today. Gnome, I expect festive Christmas music for this entire episode, both episodes. Okay, so, and most of it's copyright free anyway because it's all old.
I will say, I think the reason why we haven't had the podcast in a while is because Dyer was so embarrassed about that ass beating that the Ohio State Buckeyes
took. I knew we were going there, right off the rip.
He hasn't gotten his surprise yet, so that's the best part. And I do want to share this because this is actually funny. So obviously I've talked about how I was going to surprise Dyer, and I still am. He just doesn't know when it's coming. But the best part was I said, hey, Dyer, I'm coming into town, literally coming in late. Like I was getting in at least 8 o'clock. So I was like, man, if he bites on this, then this is great. But if not, like that was just failed on me. I was like, hey man, me and Jape will probably come out to Newark and we'll see you, but you got to send me your address because I don't know where you live. Without any hesitation, Dyer sends his address right to me. I didn't have it, so there was no way I could even do anything to his house or any of that stuff. But now I've got it. I've got all the information I need. And the surprise will show up at some point, but I promise you we'll all know about it.
Now also don't forget, chat,
the paintballs.
Listeners, there was a side bet. There was a side bet. Dyer rage quit the podcast.
Yep.
There was a side bet, and the side bet that was accepted by all parties.
Correct.
Was the loser because Dyer, of course, Ohio State fan, Derek, a diehard Michigan fan, the loser of the game is subject to a paintball onslaught equivalent to the number of points they lost by. Now, there are some rules here. The number of paintballs is the firm number of paintballs, so he doesn't get hit that many times. If Derek misses him once or twice, that's on Derek.
Yep.
But Derek, how much did you win by?
Dyer knows exactly. The number that I'm looking for is 22.
Ugh.
22 paintballs. It will be recorded. It will be filmed. It will be recorded. Our editor is putting a little something together for this.
The distance has to be at least the length of a pool.
Yeah, it's going to be a fair distance.
I can't be like right next to him and just busting a cap on him.
No. But I think we already know, Derek, that you're going to take your sweet time sending those paintballs downrange.
Oh yeah, bud. I might give him a couple like real quick just to get a few stings. But I mean, I can't sit here and spend all day. Like it's going to have to be within a 10-minute span.
Right. Agreed.
It's probably even too long. I would say 5 minutes. I can't sit here and shoot him like 3 times and then be like, all right, come back out here later, Dyer. No, it's going to be one and done.
One shot.
Yeah,
yes.
One and done.
Now, Dyer, there is an opportunity here for revenge. It's not set in stone yet. It's not set in stone.
Could happen.
It could happen. The two could meet in the playoffs, in the championship, no less. In which case, I ask you two, is it double or nothing or a separate bet?
It would probably just be a separate bet because this is the thing, like, and I get it for NFL, it's different because they play each other multiple times. Michigan, Ohio State has never played more than once, ever. Mm-mm. So this is like it's a weird way to look at it. And on top of it, like, I would hope it's going to be a better game, but then I just saw too, like, that's the thing that kind of sucks is I kind of don't even want to do that with Dyer. Some of his key guys aren't even going to play. What's his name? Smith. What is it? Smith, Jigba. Yeah. Like he's not playing.
Which is silly to me.
Which is, yeah. He didn't play. No, he didn't play.
I was going to say.
But I'm saying it's like, that's a key guy, you know, and I'm sure there's going to be other guys that, well, they won't opt out. There's no way. There's no way somebody should opt out because of, I mean, you guys are playing for a national title possibly.
How are you gonna not play in the playoffs? I can see if you're playing in like the fucking Motor City Bowl or something like that. You know, something that doesn't really
put some respect on Detroit there.
That's not where Maryland's playing, is it?
No, we're playing in the Duke Mayo Bowl. Mr. Rodon and I already had our shit talking session last night.
Wait, Maryland's playing NC State?
We are.
Oh, cool.
In Charlotte, so it's a home game for North NC State, but we have little too. We'll be fine.
I mean, you guys play Call of Duty and stuff together. Why won't he take you to a football game? That's a good one for you guys.
I don't know. I don't know if we can handle the shit talking together.
I mean, we didn't even really talk shit to each other, but we were also occupied.
That's true. I mean,
but,
you're
I mean, yeah, but it's not like we would. I don't really think there would have been much said.
No,
I'm not a big like. Even when I was at Ohio State with my brother, like me and him talk shit to each other, but like even during the game, even when Michigan started to like, when they were first getting their ass kicked at first, like they were getting dominated, Greg didn't say anything to me. And then it was the same thing. Once Michigan started putting the fucking throttle down, I didn't say anything. I mean, I was cheering, but so was he when Ohio State was doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't, I don't think there's much like, I guess in our group chat, Jape and Dyer and I mean Corey doesn't really count, but we talk shit, but it's not like
right.
It's not to the extremes. No. Well, we've never done that. It's never been like I'm gonna fucking kill you, Dyer, like shit like that.
Now here's the question for you, Dyer. How many times did you have to remind yourself not to throw the remote during that game?
Man, quite honestly, after the third quarter, I was just completely resigned to the fact that Ohio State was going to lose. and I was just praying for the defense to find their testicles in their pants and figure out how to stop anybody, the run, the deep balls from going over the top. Just stop them at any point in time, or maybe just go out and score some points on offense and figure it out that way, so that we can at least close this gap a little bit. Because I am going to be in pain. This is causing me bodily harm, not just mental. So now I'm being assaulted on more than one front by this game, and that was the biggest thing of it. I was just ridden with fear and anxiety that entire second half. So it was beyond throwing things. It was like chewing my fingernails off.
Follow-up question for you, Dyer. Do you think Maryland exposed some weaknesses in that Ohio State pass defense the week before?
But they were, I mean,
Yes.
yes, but they were we already knew that though.
Correct, but that was the first like true quarterback they faced in the Big Ten who can actually throw it.
Did you guys face Purdue? Their quarterback can throw it. You guys didn't play Purdue, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Let's look.
Indiana's got a decent quarterback, but
he's not Tagovailoa though.
I
it's
get
Indiana,
it, but yeah.
I mean,
It's
you
still-
played Notre Dame, but that was when they didn't know who their quarterback was
Well, they also didn't know what they were doing.
yet. Arkansas State, no QB. That's really going to throw. Toledo, nothing. Wisconsin, run game. Ohio State, Rutgers. Michigan State.
Michigan
Iowa,
State.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Iowa's definitely being Iowa.
Penn State. Sean Clifford's the most overrated quarterback of all time.
Yep.
Northwestern.
Yeah, but okay,
Indiana.
hold on. Let's go to that game real quick.
Go for it.
That game, nobody was doing shit. The wind was like
Correct.
50 miles an
Correct.
hour.
Yes.
So
Correct.
no,
Yes. Indiana.
their quarterback was so.
But then you played Maryland and Michigan back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that does make it tougher.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, and I get it, but again, like we've all talked about before, their pass defense is just atrocious.
Correct.
And we knew that, and Maryland definitely helped by exposing that. But the other thing is, and this is why I hate it, you guys got to give credit to JJ McCarthy for being a dog out there.
He stepped up
Sure.
that game. Losing Corum early, like not having him for the entire game.
I mean,
having to go off.
Donovan Edwards is a beast, hands
he's a
down.
dog. Don't get me wrong,
He's
but-
great, but everybody had all the expectations and all the shit talking on JJ McCarthy, saying that he wasn't that good of a quarterback. He's a quarterback. He's good. He's mobile, but they didn't think he could throw the deep ball, and
proved
he
himself,
freaking showed out. But I do want to say though, for this game, like I get it. I'm happy because now the rivalry is back to being the rivalry. And it honestly did. It had to take 2 wins, and obviously one of them had to be back-to-back wins, but it also had to be at Ohio State, which there's no other way it would have been, because Michigan hasn't beat Ohio State since I want to say it was 2000. It might have been a little bit later than that. Also, to show more about how good Michigan was, this is also the first time Michigan has beat both rivals in the same year. So that was another big statement there for Michigan. I think Michigan's a legit team now. I can actually stand with that. I still don't think we can beat Georgia.
I think you got a good matchup though.
It'll be a better matchup. But
TCU
Georgia's so big. But yeah, TCU is going to be a good matchup too. That's another really good quarterback. Heisman finalist.
I think he should have won it.
I would agree. I hate Caleb Caleb Williams.
No,
or whatever.
I don't like Caleb.
I hate his stupid fucking
yes.
nail painting stuff. Don't be a douche.
Agree.
That
Now, I
shit's
can't-
going to get hammered right away as soon as he gets drafted.
Oh yeah. Now, 100% you can't deny his quarterback skills. He's ridiculous. But
I'm not.
But I will bet you that most of the votes came in prior to the Utah game.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they did.
And I think that's what, because Max Duggan didn't really get the big national attention until his championship game.
Dude, he played his ass off.
You see his elbow? His elbow was falling out of his body. He was getting hit left, right, and center, and he willed that team to come back and almost win.
Yeah,
And that's the only reason. That's the only reason we don't have Alabama in the playoffs, is because Max Duggan took that team and put him on his shoulders.
Fuck that. I'm sorry. No matter what, Alabama, I don't care how close your losses were. You have 3 losses.
I
You
agree.
cannot
with you.
get in there. No matter
agree with you,
you can't
but
go
you're
over a 1-loss Ohio State. I get it.
No.
Ohio State got embarrassed at the shoe, but they're still you can't, like, trust me, I hate Ohio State. I do, but I'm not going to push them out like that because of Alabama.
Oh, no,
Fuck that.
You wouldn't. Ohio State got in because Utah exposed USC.
Yep.
Twice in one
Yep.
season, mind you. And that's why Ohio State got in. But if TCU had been blown out in that game,
It would have been very,
Alabama, because damn well that committee would see the dollar signs.
yeah, but there would have been so many red
There's
flags.
so much controversy. It would have been
TCU's
controversy,
first
but I would-
loss versus a
but I
3
would-
loss. TCU had the toughest schedule out of all of them.
They did. But I would put good money on the committee finding a way if TCU had been blown out to wiggle Alabama in.
Well, yeah, I know
They've
they
done it
wanted
before,
to
They'll do it again.
they want to do everything they could to get that to happen.
Yep.
But again,
When you look back on it, though, you got to give Michigan some credit there too, right? Because coming from an Ohio State fan, first of all, rebuilding that rivalry. Up until last year, it was just another game, kind of, as far as the mood leading up to that game. With the loss last year, it was a totally different feeling coming up to this one as a fan. Like, I talked shit to Derek all year long. That's just because I enjoy talking shit to Derek. Going into that game, fans weren't confident that they were going to go in and blow the doors off of Michigan.
No.
We knew as fans that there were issues on the defensive side of the ball. Our running game was down. Mayan Williams was hurt. So these were things that we saw. So also, Ohio State gets in for the same reasons why. The same reasons why they wanted Alabama there. Huge fan base, a lot of money, dollar signs. That's a real thing. I'm not going to discredit that. Also, the one loss, albeit a big loss, from a standpoint of points, at home, sure. It was to the number, what were they at the time, 2 or 3 in the country?
They were flipped. It was 3
The-
versus
the-
2.
yeah, it was
Or was
3,
it 4
yeah.
versus? Yeah, it was 3 versus 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Three.
So, I mean, if you're going to get your ass kicked, at least it's by
An
the
undefeated
second best team in the league, or in the country. So, that goes into consideration too. Looking back on how all these things happened, we knew that once USC lost, that Ohio State was in. Everybody on the planet knew that.
And I think the big thing here is that the committee also got something. And again, we have to be real here. The committee's job at the end of the day is not to put the 2 best football teams against each other, the 4 best football teams. It's to do that if they can, but it's also it's dollars. It always has been for them. Always has been. We've seen that year in and year out with the 4. I think that's going to change with the 12-team playoff that's coming. But the 4-team playoff is all about eyeballs. It's all about who can you get to view. And I think that we all know that if we get an Ohio State-Michigan championship, it will probably be one of the most viewed championship games.
It was
that
already
we've
the
ever-
most viewed game this year.
And the
you think-
rematch
Do
championship.
you think it could rival the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
I don't know if it'll rival the Super Bowl.
It depends who's in it.
That's a good point. I think though that it'll probably be among the most expensive college football tickets ever sold.
Yes.
I will be
And-
there.
And B, I also think that we will get record viewership in that game because SEC people and pundits will say, "Oh, we already saw what they did once." Blah 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 blah. Why who want to watch this game? Because it's the second largest rivalry in college outside of Army Navy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have that storyline too of Ohio State getting a little bit healthier, probably. Now both teams know what's out there, what each other have. You've played against. I mean, that's a big storyline. I
Yes.
mean, I don't think that have we had a championship game where it's a rematch for anybody
Mm-mm.
in a championship
They've
era?
gotten close. There's been opportunities when Alabama came in as the 4 seed.
That's the only one thing too that I would say Michigan has the advantage of. Because Harbaugh has experienced playing teams multiple times. Think about NFL and, well, he hasn't done it in college, but NFL, he's done it so much that that's another big thing that just helps. It's not, it's not a big thing. But I do want to say too about going back to the rivalry thing real quick. I was with you on it. Like that first game, it was like, all right, this is just another game. But for me, I was like, man, we have to fucking win. We need to win finally. And then when we won, not only did we win, but we beat the shit out of you the first time. And it was, they were both literally almost the same scores both times. I don't know if you know that, but so the first one, they win by, let's say 21. And then all of a sudden to go into Ohio State, I was actually more nervous. Like, I don't know if we can really do this because this is a different atmosphere. Like, Ohio State's, I think, louder than Michigan, just because of how the bowl is set up. Like, you guys go straight up. Ours is straight out. It's still loud. Like, this year when I went to Michigan, Penn State, it was loud. Like, that was the loudest I've ever experienced Michigan. When I went to Michigan, Ohio State the first time, you were with me, right, Dyer? For that one, we had all those beers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That was like one of the loudest things I've ever experienced when it came to that. But then this year, it was just as loud. But man, once we started thumping, that place deflated so quick. And it just, and to me, it was like, if we don't win this game, Ohio State is right back to where they just were, and they can sit here and go, yeah, that was just a fluke. You guys beat us last year. So what?
And if you get a rematch in the national championship,
if Day loses,
if Michigan loses, I think Ohio State fans say, who gives a fuck about the game this year? We won the hardware. If Michigan wins,
they're going to go for Day's head.
Yeah. It's just
they were already and this sucked.
Chanting for Saban.
They weren't chanting for Saban. Urban Meyer.
What am I saying?
But they were legit, like, because we walked back from Dyer. We stayed at the hotel by Nationwide. We walked back from the shoe to that, and it was like everybody that was talking literally was, Day sucks, let's get rid of him. And it's like, Day is, and I'm making this up, but Day's time at Ohio State, he's 45 and like maybe 5. But that's really fucking good. Let's not forget what Harbaugh was. Harbaugh was like 35 and like 10. Like, yeah. So you're going to sit here and bitch to a Michigan fan who's lost multiple times to Ohio State. You lost twice now, and you're going to sit here and say, "Oh, he's done. He sucks. Get him out. We're over him." Like that blew my mind. Like, this guy is, I get it. He hasn't won a national title. He hasn't won a Big Ten title, I don't think. Like, I get it. And he's had quite the talent, but he's still a damn good coach. There's a reason why he's there. I will say one of the dumbest fucking things he did, though, was before the game. I'm in there with Greg because we want to get there early. This fucking idiot, like, they get there and they walk across the field. He's got his wife with him and everything. And all the players are in their suits and looking great. And that's awesome. I respect the tradition of doing that. They walked across the field while Michigan's getting ready. It's an hour and a half before the game. Michigan's out there getting ready for the game. They walked across the field, and Day stared the entire walk from end zone to end zone looking at Michigan. I was like, man, you look like the biggest douchebag I've ever seen walking across the field. And instead of like walking, like they kept walking closer and closer. It's like they wanted to try to start something, which I get it. It's a rivalry. But you guys are in fucking suits and wearing shoulder pads and gear out there getting ready for a game. You guys look fucking stupid. What are you doing? That was the first moment where I was like, I hope to God we put a thumping on these guys, because that is embarrassing what they did. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And a thumping they put on.
And
first of all, I'll say, yes, you're correct. That is really kind of a classless thing to do. And I know this rivalry is deeper than just a game and a gentleman's rivalry. These two teams genuinely hate each other for the most part. But that's just dumb. I mean, you don't want to stoke the flames. It's not like Michigan's coming in there at 7-5. They're one of the best teams in the country, just like Ohio State was supposed to be. And you go in there and start trying to essentially taunt them or do whatever it is they were trying to do. You're only giving them bulletin board material. Not even so, though, because that emotion is still fresh now. The game is starting in 45 minutes, and you have just pumped all of them up without ever a pregame speech happening. So that's a bad thing, a bad decision right there. You said Ryan Day is a good coach, obviously. Is he? I don't know. We don't know yet. He's not been there that long. Half the guys on the roster are Urban Meyer's guys still.
That's true.
Shit, with the talent that they've had on these rosters, me and Terps could go out there as head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator and beat most of the teams in the Big Ten.
Let's do it.
I mean, let's be honest. Most of the teams in the Big Ten aren't challenging that roster. You go out here against the best of the best, and you keep laying egg after egg. Even he's only had a few opportunities to lay those eggs, but he's looking like fucking mother hen right now.
Well, he's got a big test.
5 losses, and 2 of them are to Michigan after you just beat them for 20 years straight. That doesn't sit well in Columbus, man. We don't know how good a coach he is, but right now he looks like he's living on talent.
Here's what I think. Twofold. One,
Well, hold on. I want to say this too, real quick, because that was the other thing about like when they walked across the field. I also give a lot of respect to Harbaugh for not even, dude, Michigan didn't engage at all. Like, Dyer knows this for a fact. There is multiple times, especially at Michigan, when they meet in that tunnel, they're fucking going at it, like yelling at each other, everything. There was not, like, Harbaugh had those dudes on lockdown. They're coming by, they were talking shit. I know for a fact, like, we've all played sports, you're going to talk shit, all right? They, like, Michigan held it together. Like, I'm not kidding. That was the most composed I've ever seen. Like, there was no fights, no nothing until the game obviously started. That was the shit that blew my mind. That was crazy. Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys?
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
What just happened?
I don't know.
Did you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have nothing to say. You're exactly right.
I know, but Terps was like frozen.
I don't
Like
know,
his
maybe
screen, because no, your screen was actually like frozen, like you were stuck in a face. Like it was like. So that's why, and I can't see Dyer, so I didn't know if he
I don't
froze
know.
too.
No, maybe Discord just had a moment.
But yeah, that's one thing. That's all I wanted to point out before we continued.
I think the thing, here's, if I'm Ohio State, here's what I'm doing. One, if Day goes out and wins the championship, it's fine.
Actually, hold on. With that, Dyer, because you'll be able to answer it. Of those losses, or I mean, how many big game wins does he have? Do you know?
No, not many.
Because that's the other thing too. Is maybe that's what it is. Is he can't? Who was the coach? Was it Tressel could handle the big games? Cooper?
No, Cooper was, and that's why everybody's calling Ryan Day the new John Cooper. Can't beat Michigan, can't win the big game. You beat everybody else on the planet, but you can't win when it counts.
Well, this is the test right here, and honestly, it's
Georgia.
probably the best. Well, honestly, the funny thing is if you go look at the Georgia forums, they don't like this matchup.
Really?
Yeah, they don't like the Ohio State matchup.
It's not a good matchup from a standpoint of
For
how the teams line up with one another.
correct. In terms of Georgia, they would have rather played Michigan or TCU in game one.
See, we want, for us, yes, we'd love to play Ohio State again, obviously.
No, you got your best matchup.
But I know. I'm saying, obviously, we got to beat TCU.
Yes.
But I know the guys, and this is where it worries me the most, is they want Georgia so bad because of what happened last year. That's where I get worried is they're gonna put TCU on the back burner and get their shit handed to them because they're so focused on we want Georgia.
Here's the question, and I don't want to get too deep into this game because I think we'll have time. We'll have another podcast where we're just gonna talk all about this. We could go for hours on this because I want to talk about trades.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But I honestly think that is this the first time TCU is going to face a legitimate big defense?
No, because I feel like
They
Baylor.
don't play in the SEC, so they don't run into the corn-fed boys down there.
Yeah, but they got big boys where they are too.
They do, but do they have
Baylor has a
them-
good defense. Kansas State. Well, no, Kansas State did not. It's usually Iowa State's the sleeper, but they were
this year.
bad. Yeah.
Our offense is legit. Duggan is legit. He will make things happen.
No, I know, and that's why I don't know. It's to me. I feel like it might be a shootout.
I think it could be a shootout. I'll be interested to see how, after seeing what happened in their game, in the championship game there for TCU, I'll be curious to see if they can contain Michigan's run game.
That and if JJ passes like he did, that's gonna be tough too.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing I want to say real quick about the Ryan Day situation before we move on is if Ohio State's going to move on from him, it's going to be right before the expansion. That's when I would do it.
That's the only thing that kind of pisses me off. Now that Alabama didn't get in there, now Saban wants to
Not
cry.
that expansion, the Big Ten expansion.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying
No, I know.
put
but
that in there too. It's funny
Right.
that Saban now bitches because they're not in. Oh, maybe 12 teams is a good idea. We should do that. Yeah. Fuck out of here.
But
Sounds
but
very Nick Saban-ish.
it is. But I think that if you're Ohio State, when that expansion happens, when USC, UCLA come in, and well, I'm going to assume probably soon after that, another 2 teams will come in just to balance out that West. That's when you look at
I could see
Has
the
he not won his
Pac-12.
game?
I could see the Pac-12 splitting up. Some of them going to the Big 12 and some of them going to the Big 10.
yeah, correct. But yeah, I mean, otherwise in college football, we had some craziness happen with Nebraska. We don't want to get too into, but they went out and hired Matt Rule, which I think is a good hire for them.
Should be.
I agree.
That'll be good
he's
for the
got-
Big 10.
It is good for the Big Ten. He took Temple to uncharted territory, took Baylor to uncharted territory.
He
for
took
them.
Baylor's defense and turned that
Yes.
around. So
And the big
Expect to
thing
see
that
that.
kids will like, recruits will like, he has current NFL experience.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if you're a failed NFL coach, you've been there.
it's still Nebraska though.
It's still Nebraska. Won't go into what happened with Mickey Joseph. That's still ongoing, but it's
Yeesh.
crazy. Nebraska has a lot of baggage they need to take care of. A lot of baggage they need to take care of, and quickly.
It
Um,
happens.
It does. Maryland finds itself in a bowl game. We're going to be playing NC State.
Representing Big
should-
10.
Big Ten. It should be an interesting game. Opt-outs are happening as they normally do. NC State ended on a little bit of a slump. Maryland ended on a little bit of a slump as well. So we'll see what happens there. Should be a fun game though. Again, how many opt-outs happen? Which key players don't show up? That's like the big thing with bowl games now. In that aspect. Tennessee.
When is that bowl game? Sorry.
That is the December 28th, I think.
Okay.
Tennessee, Hendon Hooker not being invited to the Heisman ceremony, I think is just crazy. I understand you only invite 4. I think that a certain quarterback from Georgia didn't deserve to be there, but that's just my thoughts and my thoughts alone.
They're just trying to do something because of their record. You got to put somebody in there. So that was the
which is big thing. But Tennessee is going to go off, and we'll see what happens with them in the next few years. They're getting good. See if they can maintain it.
yeah, but their quarterback, that sucks to see Hooker go down.
Yes. Yep. So let's move on to the big things we want to talk about. Well, that was a big thing we want to talk about. But of course, the MLB offseason has been in full swing, and a lot of shit has happened since we recorded a month ago.
A lot of good shit.
So the first one I want to address, because it's come up in my chat already a few times, and it's come up in your chat already a few streams, and I haven't addressed it yet because we were waiting to do a podcast, and it just didn't happen, is of course the Texas Rangers signing Jacob deGrom away from the New York Mets. A good player-friendly contract for Mr. deGrom over there, going to the Rangers. And a lot of people didn't see this coming. A lot of people did see it coming. It wasn't super surprising. But the big thing for me was not that we lost Jacob deGrom. It's how Steve Cohen responded to losing Jacob deGrom, going out getting both Verlander and then signing Senga as well into that rotation. But I want to address the elephant in the room. Terps, you're a Mets fan. How do you feel about losing deGrom to the Rangers? I think it's very simple. And I've had this conversation privately with Derek and with Dyer, our group chat, and with Tyler and Choppy and all that. I think it's very simple what happened here. deGrom got years. He got 5 years at $185 million. I do not think the Mets wanted to go that route. I don't think they wanted to give him the years. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my take on this, was that Steve Cohen did not want to give deGrom 5 years at what deGrom was asking because of what we've talked about before on this podcast many times. When deGrom is healthy, he is the best pitcher in the game. The key word, when deGrom is healthy.
Huge asterisk there.
And he's not been healthy for the past 2.5 years. And if you're looking at a long-term contract here, I could see where the Mets, who have a history with signing players to long-term contracts who end up being hurt during them, Yoenis Cespedes, David Wright, Jacob deGrom, this is going to stand out to them. There's no doubt that they wanted deGrom back. There's no doubt that deGrom definitely would have entertained staying in New York and having a legacy there. But at the end of the day, I think this is the best move for DeGrom. And while it sucks, I have to get another jersey because he's the Mets jersey I have. I like the way the Mets responded, and Steve Cohen is playing full out. Just I have money, so that's my thoughts on it. You guys?
Yeah, I think it's a good pickup. Personally, yes, I would have loved to have seen Rodon come here and then get, a couple other assets with it. Rodon is still not ruled out. As crazy as that is, the Rangers are willing to spend. They have ownership that wants to win, and they also have a GM that wants to win, and they're all putting that all together. It is funny that somebody's saying in here, reporters have said it's unlikely they'll sign Rodon after. Well, that's false. They've still got a chance to get in there.
Reporters also said it was unlikely Jacob DeGrom would leave.
Well, they
New York
also
unless it was for Atlanta.
They're also saying Aaron Judge was going to the Giants, and how'd that work out? So
Reporters say a lot of shit. I think
it's
the
clickbait.
general thing to
It's
figure out
clickbait.
here.
And I think some of them are plants. Just saying. I think
So,
there's some leaks that are intentional.
but yes, it's to me, great hire. You got to keep him on the field. I think with the Rangers training staff, that's why it helps. And that's why I think DeGrom made the decision. Nothing against the Mets training staff. I don't know them like I do the Rangers. Rangers have a very nice big league training staff. They do a very good job of keeping guys on the field. So they know what they probably got to do with DeGrom. Obviously, having the team doctor close by with Dr. Meister, that helps as well. But I think another big pickup, and we didn't really get to talk about it too, that gets underlooked or overlooked, I should say, is Bruce Bochy and Mike Maddox. Bochy is old school baseball, so to me, that's telling me that the Rangers aren't necessarily giving up on analytics, but they're cutting back on it. They got themselves a Hall of Fame manager, and they're going to have a Hall of Fame pitching coach with Mike Maddox, who is going to help big time. So that'll be huge to
and now
see
they have
as
a
well.
Hall of Fame caliber pitcher.
Yes, and which is going to be good. All the guys are going to feed off of that and go from there. So it's incredible. Sorry, Bruce is at the door. I've never seen him do this, but he's really trying to push it open.
Like
Bruce Bochy?
Bruce Bochy, yes. Bruce Bochy is at my door. He's looking at me through the window, and it's so funny because all I see is his eyeballs, and he's just staring at me like, "Hey, fuck, let me in." But there's also been some good moves too outside the league. There, you've got Aaron Judge obviously going back home. The big thing is he the captain now? That's the
I
other
think he
one
has
that
to
comes
be.
out. Yes,
I don't think you have to put a physical C on his chest, but you got to put a C on his chest.
I agree.
I think that if you wanna erase any kind of negativity or whatever, Aaron Judge is the captain of that team now.
Agree.
He's there for the long haul. He's going to retire a Yankee unless something crazy happens.
I think he's
Put a
earned
C
it
on
too.
that man-
He's
Put a C
What
on
if
that
that
man's
was-
chest.
What if that was part of the contract? What if he said, "Look, I'll come back for X amount of dollars, and you're gonna be captain"?
Who knows?
we don't know that
Supposedly
part.
the Giants were close, but I think that New York, being a Yankee for life is a Yankee for life. That's a big thing.
I don't think anybody's worried about this luxury tax first. Let's get rid of that.
Here's the thing with the luxury tax: the only people who benefit from the luxury tax are the people who don't spend money.
Yep. Nobody
And-
cares. It's
and I
just like
think-
a print that's there. Like ta-da.
And I think here's the thing. So it started with the Guggenheim Group with the Dodgers. Well, actually, no, it started with the Yankees and the Death Star. Back in the day when the Yankees were going out, they were signing everybody. They were the first ones to really make a super team. And they were really the only ones that did it. Then the Guggenheim Group acquired the Dodgers. Dodgers start spending a lot of money. Dodgers have a lot of success spending the money. Now, all of a sudden, you have two teams that are spending money. Yankees start to fall off. Then Steve Cohen comes in and buys the Mets. Now you have one of the wealthiest people in America owning a baseball team. He wants to win. He starts spending money. So now you have the Yankees spending a little bit of money. You have the Dodgers spending a lot of money. You have the Mets spending a lot of money. Then the Padres come in. The Padres say, fuck it, we want to spend a lot of money too. They go out, they spend a lot of money to compete. The Rangers ownership group changes mentality. They see everyone else spending money. Now it's normal. Now the Rangers are starting to spend money to win. And this is good for the sport, in my opinion. It is good. And in reality, even teams like the Braves, who are ridiculously good at contracts, still are spending money on guys.
Yeah.
The Phillies, Trey Turner, spending money. You're seeing people realize you have to spend money to be competitive in this era of baseball. When the era of not billionaires, but multi-billionaires running the sport now, you have to spend money to compete. You do not spend money to compete, you're either going to be the Braves and are banking on long-term team-friendly contracts you get early on in their career, or you get lucky because all the talent's going to go to the teams that have the money.
Yeah.
Just the way the world works.
The way it's going to, I mean, teams are going to start opening up. They have to. You're seeing all these other teams open up. Fans are going to start getting pissed. Why aren't we spending money? We want to contend. We want to watch. And then all of a sudden, once they see that nobody's coming to the games because they're not spending money, Oakland, for example, is a tough one to watch right now. Pittsburgh was dealing with it.
Cleveland.
I mean, Cleveland did go out and get Josh Bell. I'm not saying it's. I see, buddy. Josh is a good fit for that team. And the thing is, with Cleveland, though, they don't have to really go out and spend because Tito does such a good job with his group that they're always contending. Fuck, they were in the playoffs again this year. Nobody would have predicted that. You cannot tell me, Dyer, that you actually thought for sure the Indians would be in the playoffs.
No, I thought they'd be lucky to break 500 this year. I thought 500 was an extremely successful year with this team. Super overperforming team. But it always seems like the Indians are having success in spite of the ownership group. Like, they always have to have a great coach and a great front office that's going to stock that cupboard full of guys that are going to come up at the right time. It all comes together at the right time. And even then, you've only got a 2 to 3 year window where the success is even possible, because then the ownership group doesn't want to open up the checkbook to re-sign anybody. So yes, I get what you're saying, but it's not because the owners are doing anything to help the team other than hiring fantastic people to run it, I guess. But the owners don't do that either, other than hiring the president and the GM and all this shit. You know, the owner's not hiring Tito Francona to run the team. So yeah, to a certain point, I agree with you, but it's always kind of been that situation where the owner's not going to pay, so we got to figure out other ways to win.
Yeah, I get that, and that's right, but that's what I was trying to say. There's more credit though to the coaching staff as well. But with the other thing that helps out too is and I'm going to use the Rangers as an example because I get to cover them more here now that I'm doing some of the radio. Chris Young came in and made a statement out the gate. As soon as he got here, we're going to spend money. I think that's what it kind of took from the owners. I'm not taking shots at John Daniels by any means because the guy was great. I have a lot of respect for him, but I think there's more fire under Chris Young than there is John Daniels. Chris Young wanted to make a statement right away. What'd they do? They went and got Seager. They went and got Simeon. They went and got Gray. They made their noise. They made their presence. And then he comes in this offseason and says the same thing. We're not done. We're going after moves because we want to win. We want to bring a championship here. The owners are seeing that, and they know how dedicated he is, and they know how well he really cares about this team and is trying to win, especially being a former player. They're listening to him, and they're buying in. That could be the big key, too, is for most of these owners is getting a GM like Chris Young who's putting his foot down and making a statement. We got money, then we're going to fucking spend it, and we're going to get some players here, and we're going to try to get us a ring because that's what the fans deserve. That's what we got to do it, and we're going to make sure that we do that right now. And that's why they went out this year, already got DeGrom, got Bochy, got Maddox, and they're still going. There's still noise to be made, I promise.
Yeah, and not just with the Rangers. The Mets are apparently also in on Correa because Steve Cohen's a money printing machine.
Yeah.
And here's what I want to throw this out there to some people because they don't understand how wealthy Steve Cohen is. Steve Cohen made back the money he bought the Mets for in 8 months. 8 months.
That's a lot of dough.
And here's the
But that's the thing. When you bought that team, you bring people in, people also will come watch. And what happens? Oh, your wallets get filled up more. Common sense.
And not only that, Steve Cohen is a businessman. He runs the team like a business. He knows Okay, you lost DeGrom, but you have to get somebody. You don't get somebody after losing DeGrom, the fans are going to turn. Doesn't matter how, that's just how New York is. All right, you go get Verlander. Rating Cy Young award winner. Then you go out and you get and you get Senga, who no one thought the Mets were going to land. You get him. You go out there, you re-sign Edwin Diaz. You re-sign Brandon Nimmo to big contracts, which was needed. Now you're also in a Carlos Correa apparently to go after him. Like this another owner that's in it to win it, which is good for the sport. Now what's interesting for me is what happens, who buys the Nationals and who buys the Angels. Both teams are up for sale right now. And I'm more curious to see who buys the Angels. Because all the talks about where's Shohei going to go this offseason, this season.
They're going to keep him.
Away.
No, they'll keep him for now, and then they can shop him after.
Or
once they get the owner.
Depends what owner comes in. If you get a wealthy owner who wants that team to win, maybe you don't let Shohei walk.
I wish I could just buy a team.
The best case scenario for the Angels is if a wealthy person of Japanese descent buys that team.
And
Can you imagine?
Just starts shelling.
Yeah.
You could see something like that.
Because what I don't think people realize is Steve Cohen is not going to stay the wealthiest owner in baseball. I guarantee you that.
What if Elon Musk buys a team?
Oh, they're going to win. They're going to win a championship in 3 years.
I'm serious. Like it is funny,
I'm agreeing with you.
I'm serious. That would be incredible.
Let's go quickly through some other big signings. Trey Turner to Philadelphia. Everyone kind of saw the writing on the wall. He was going back to the East Coast.
Philly looks good.
Philly looks real good. That NL East is going to be rough.
The Braves got to make a couple more moves.
Yeah. They're young, though.
I know.
They're young,
well, they've locked up all their guys for a while.
Yes. Smart.
It's a tough. I mean, that division is literally, it's those three teams. That's it. Nobody cares about the Nationals and the Marlins.
Oh, you know what could happen with those three teams too is that they could all beat up on each other and have a lower win record, and people think they're not as good, but in reality, all they've done all year is beat up on each other.
Oh, that's going to happen.
And then just roll through the postseason.
Man.
Either that or three teams from that division are going to make the postseason.
Yeah, I was going to say that one sounds more reasonable. They're all, you might have three teams, all mid-90s wins.
Yeah.
Because remember, the schedule's different this year.
Everyone plays everybody.
Yep, which is stupid, but whatever.
The Boston Red Sox let Xander Bogaerts go to the Padres, 11 years, $280 million to the Padres. I don't know what's going on in the Red Sox land, but if I'm a fan, I'm not happy there.
So, with that being said, I do want to add that I saw a little, I don't know what you want to call it, like a blog about the owner. They are pissed because he's let so many people walk. And then they were pissed that they signed Story. And it's like, man, Story wasn't even bad. So I don't know what you're upset about.
I think letting Xander go for a lower AAV than what the Red Sox offered him, supposedly. So the Red Sox only offered him 7 years versus the Padres offering him 11 years. 11 years and an extra $100 million is
Gotta take
5 more
that.
years than you offered him, and also
That ain't nothing.
$100 million more. But my question is, you couldn't match that?
I don't know. Watch him go get a guy like Correa or who's the other? Dansby.
Unless Boston just doesn't think that they're that close right now, and spending that kind of money on a player doesn't make sense.
Well, they got to save money for if they want to keep Devers. That's
that
next year.
At this point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I was gonna say if that happens, they're gonna be chanting off with his head.
Toronto Blue Jays, a good signing here, getting Chris Bassett 3 years, $63 million.
Oh, that was new. I didn't even know that he.
That happened a few days ago. 2 days ago, I think.
It's a
Good pickup for Toronto. That's a good pickup for Toronto. He has experience pitching against teams in that division already. Good experience in New York last year. He was up and down for New York, but it was also a fairly consistent pitcher across the board. But did have his off games. But good pitcher, good veteran pitcher, has been around the block, knows how to compete. I think that's a really, really good signing for Toronto. Nimmo back to the Mets. That's good as well.
That's a good
Diaz
one.
back to the Mets, setting the record for the highest contract ever for a reliever.
Much deserved.
Kershaw back to the Dodgers. Raise your hand
Saw
if
that.
you were shocked by that. Nobody was shocked.
This is my only thing with it. I try to tell Ranger fans over and over. I love Kershaw. Okay, he's a friend of mine, like a good friend. I'm not talking bad about him when it comes to this, but you talk about having him or DeGrom. Okay, it'd be great to have both of them. Both are injury guys. That's where it becomes the issue. There's nothing against Kershaw because trust me, when he's healthy, he's just as nasty. Okay. He's a fucking stud. He's a future Hall of Famer. First ballot, without a doubt. But I would much rather have somebody else. It's let him finish his career there. It's a better story for him. Don't need to come to Texas.
That's what we've talked about legacy before, and with him specifically. And it's why would you not ruin that legacy, but alter that legacy?
Yep.
You're winning with the Dodgers.
The only thing that sucks is I wish the Giants would have signed Bumgarner for a long term, and you had the battle of them too.
Well, we're gonna piss off our editor, but we're gonna talk about it. Wilson Contreras to the Cardinals, 5 years, $85 million.
That's an interesting move.
Cubbies let one go. Though supposedly Contreras have been eyeing the Cardinals since he was still with the Cubs this past year, according to a piece he wrote in The Athletic. Derek, what's your take on that as a player? Is that
hearing that kind of would bother me? You know, you've been playing here with the Cubs and everything. I'm curious how his response is going to be when he gets, or his I guess you can, however you want to put it, but I'm curious how it's going to be when he shows back up in Chicago, because he was a very well liked guy there.
Yeah.
And to sit and say, hey, I was really excited to be a Cardinal. This is what I wanted. And then also talking about you get to fill the shoes, which is great. Those are huge shoes to fill, by the way. It's just such a different, I don't know. I wouldn't be a fan of that. I'd be very pissed off that you were saying that you wanted to be there rather than be with us.
I think what stings is obviously when you join a new team, it's one thing to go out there and say, I'm really excited for this opportunity. I'm really excited to try to fill Yadier Molina's shoes and try to perform the best for you guys. I'm super excited that I'm somewhere that wants me. That's one thing. Like, I get that. But to hear a player, and this is not like rumor mill, like you can go read this piece on The Athletic. He wrote this article himself. To read someone saying, from the time I sat in the dugout as a Cub and watched him, I forget what it was, hit whatever, Pujols hit whatever home run it was, and to say, man, I would like to play for a team with that sense of tradition and fan base. You played for the fucking Cubs. What more tradition do you want?
Bro, they treated me so well, and I wish I could have done even better. Like, yeah, I had some good games, I had some bad games, and those bad games hurt when you're a reliever, but dude, they still treated me the best. Like, they were awesome to me. They were like, they cheered for me, everything. They never booed for me. They booed me. I shouldn't say for me. They never booed me. They are a passionate fan base. I have a lot of respect for the Cub fans and the Cub base.
Now.
Me?
Not you.
Oh, I definitely think they'll boo him.
I just, Dyer, I want your take on this too, but it's just, to me, seeing a player say that is just, especially someone who was a literal hero to a lot of Cubs fans. And not just any team. And, I gave Tyler shit for this when we were talking on the side, but their biggest rivals in division. Dyer, how do you take that?
Dyer, treat that as if it was Michigan, Ohio State.
I think the difference there is what he said about while he played for the Cubs, essentially wanting to be a Cardinal. He didn't say exactly that, but he pretty much did. If he hadn't said that and said, hey, I appreciate all my time with the Cubs, fantastic organization, I made the choice that was best for me, did the little dance, even if he was thinking it, I think that as a fan, you can accept that way more than you can him coming out and saying, I wanted to be on the rival team for most of the time that I was here. Because when you say that as a fan, you're dead to me. I'll boo your ass every time you walk through the door. You don't even have to get behind the plate or step in the batter's box.
And to hear it from someone who's he was one of the last Cubs from the World Series team.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that I kind of put into consideration. He could be trying to just butter up the Cardinal fans too.
Yeah, 100%.
Which, that's something you kind of want to do. You want to show them that love. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Another big signing, Jose Abreu to Houston.
I was shocked
million.
on this one. Shocked. Because he is a White Sox icon over there. They love him. He's been unbelievable, but yeah, I cannot believe they let him walk. And hey, hats off to Houston going to get themselves a first baseman or DH, however they want to use him.
Derek, remember, this is the same ownership group. And granted, we're all a little biased here because we're all good friends with Carlos, who did not even extend Carlos a QO.
Oh, I know.
That's the same ownership group that just let Jose Abreu walk.
They were the other thing. I mean, this is the only thing you can say though about Carlos did his job. He did everything to shut everybody up. Hats off to that. What they were looking at is more of, well, he's been hurt the past few years. That's how they looked at it.
But why not take a QO flyer?
I know. Trust me, I'm with you.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
It was just that's how they were, and I think it was just such a dumb thing for them to do. But yeah. That's how it is, man. It's a business.
Rizzo goes back to the Yankees. He's a Yankee. He plays well in Yankee Stadium. He looks like a Yankee. That man's a Yankee. So last name is Rizzo. Of course, he's staying in New York City.
Basically, he's the biggest douche in the league, and so he belongs in pinstripes.
Why do you hate him?
Yeah, why do you hate Rizzo?
Are you serious?
Other than the World Series.
He's one of my really good friends, too.
Because he plays for two of the teams that I hate most, the 2016 Cubs and the New York Yankees.
Podcast.
That's fine.
Get him on the podcast, Derek.
I might have to. Then he's going to... Dyer's going to be like a big fan of his. Like, no, dude, I really like him. He's such a nice guy. I tried to talk shit, and he wouldn't even talk shit back to me.
It'll be the Rizzo roast.
No, it'd be... you would love him. He's such an awesome dude.
Listen, any of the hate that I have, of course, is nothing personal.
No, I know. There's people in here. The Cole Bernstein right now is like calling Rizzo a douche is a terrible take. He doesn't know him. He doesn't mind that. And his foundation is unbelievable. Okay, this is one thing I want to put out there. No matter what the fan is the player is that you hate, you're never going to sit there and be like that's not going to be one of your things to bring up is, man, I hate this guy. And then somebody's going to come back with, well, his foundation's really nice. You should think of it. No, that's not even, trust me, what people do off the field is fantastic. It's the hate that they have for that that player on the field.
And to be able to separate
they always
the two
respect.
As well.
Yeah, they respect the player doing stuff off the field. Dyer's not going to sit there and be like, no, fuck Rizzo and his foundation. That would never come up, ever. So.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is if he wasn't a good player, I wouldn't feel so strongly about this.
True.
It's because he's been a successful player for both teams that I hate that I don't.
And he's caused.
You know what I mean?
He's caused
As a
nightmares.
fan, I don't like him. Yes.
Yeah. It's not. We know you don't hate Rizzo. I just want people to understand that because that was brought into the chat, and I want to make sure, for Cole's sake and everybody else, if they were to bring it up. It's not that he hates him like that. I guarantee if he saw him, he would probably say, man, I really hate you because you play for the teams that have beat my team or whatever. But he's not going to, he's not going to be like, fuck you, dude. No, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. He's not that. It's not like that.
No, I'm
makes
sure
sense.
He's a fine person. When I say he's a douche, you say it with a grain of salt, as a fan says about a player who is nothing to them but a baseball player that they see on TV.
But Dyer will still curse him out when he sees him get up for bat in pinstripes.
Oh, for sure. If I'm in the stands, I'm going to be, fuck you, Rizzo, and this, that, and the other. But if I ever meet him face-to-face, I'm like, hey, man, great to meet you. You're a fantastic ball player, and I don't hate you.
I just despise you.
You took my World Series from me.
Yeah, you were a part of this.
Yeah.
Mitch Haniger to the Giants.
I think that's a good pickup.
I think it's a good pickup as well.
I kind of wish he would have stayed in Seattle, but I get it. See, there you go. This is the perfect one. I just want to throw this out real quick because we were talking about David Freese is a douche. He's actually, as much as he took a ring away from me, he seriously is a cool dude. Great guy. Talked to him a few times. I have no issues with him. Yeah, he took a ring from me, but I'm not going to hate the guy.
Kenley Jansen, 2 years, $32 million with the Boston Red Sox.
Don't like that move.
Seems a little.
I was really confused more by the Braves letting Will Smith go.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me. I know they traded him. Like, that was your guy that just got you a World Series ring.
Zach Eflin to the Tampa Bay Rays. I think that's a good pickup for them as well. Not so great for Philly. Their pitching.
They'll probably get somebody else. Okay, hold on. One more.
From the Rangers.
One more thing. Cole Bernstein. Cruz did try to make that play in right. So I always have to put this out there because people don't understand. He was shifted. He was moved away from where he was at. So he was no longer camped out under the ball, which that's what it would have been.
And he was hurt.
Well, he got hurt on the play.
Hurt.
Tore his hamstring on the play. So no more saying he low-key could have made that play. No, he low-key could not. He tried. That's why it happened.
Taijuan Walker is going to replace Zach Eflin on the Phillies. Good
I
pickup.
was gonna say I like that. He's an inning eater. He's a good quality pitcher.
He pitched well for the Mets. I'm actually sad to see him go. Although I think it just came down to the fact that you only have so many starters on a team.
Who hurt more for you, Bassett or him?
It's pretty close.
They're both
Between
good.
the
I'm
two
not
of
taking
them.
anything away from that.
Well, they're very similar. They're very similar pitchers in terms of their performance with the Mets. I would have preferred Bassett to stay over Walker, but so by that aspect, yeah, I think Bassett hurts more. But again, we've gone out and replaced them.
Yeah, you went and got good guys. So, yeah,
so
you're
it's
good.
like, but at the same time, yeah, I would have liked to see them both stay. But again, it comes down to you want to bring Verlander in. You already got Scherzer. Now you got Senga. You're just running out of space. You only got so much room in the stables.
The only thing about Senga, I love the guy. It's the adjustment. It's the adjustment from Japanese baseball to American baseball.
Well, they got a good. They did get a good contract on him. They're not overpaying for him. Like
Right. No. I'm just saying it's more of the factor of when you're in Japan, you only throw once a week.
Yep.
And on top of that, you also have to adjust to how the game is played here, pitching wise. It's not the same.
Correct.
So hopefully everything goes well.
But the thing is, the Mets also got Jose Quintana, so
That's a good one.
you're out of room at that point. You have to let Walker and or Bassett go, or both, especially because they're keeping Cookie. So it's
that's a good one.
You run out of space. Sean Manaea to the Giants as well
Shocked.
as well as Stripling to the Giants as well.
Both shocking. Stripling, good pickup. Manaea, I honestly thought might go back to the Padres. So shocked to see him go to the Gigantes. I guess he really likes it up north because it's back up by Oakland. So that's a good one though.
Jock Peterson will be staying with the Giants. He accepted the QO from them,
Mhm.
which is good for the Giants. Tampa Bay Rays, they lose the best outfielder in the game. Kevin Kiermaier is going to the Blue Jays.
Which is crazy.
Yes. Staying in division, but just going up north. I still think he is one of the best outfielders in the game. He just has unreal skills. Anything you guys want to add in terms of trades, money being spent?
There's a lot of activity, but I wish there was more from some other teams just to get themselves out there. People were very upset about this. Yes, Heaney did go to the Rangers. I'm okay with it. The Pirates went and got Carlos Santana. Not too crazy about it. Good pickup though. It's good for them. I just think that they gotta do something else. They gotta start spending a little bit. I think the Cubs are gonna make a couple more splashes.
I don't think the Mets are done.
That's how I feel about the Rangers. I don't think they're done.
Both of those teams are done. Yeah, I agree.
I would like to see the Indians make a move for Dyer. Don't know if that'll happen. There's still options out there. I think the Mariners could make a pickup here. Don't know what yet.
If the Cubs don't get a shortstop, our editor might throw himself off a bridge. So
We'll keep him on suicide watch.
I get the feeling they're going to lose out on both. If the Mets are in on Correa, it's for one of two reasons. Either A, he has said he will move to third base if he gets to play with Lindor, because those two go back a long, long time. That goes back to the World Baseball Classic matchup between those two.
I was going to ask that, what their plan was with Lindor.
So Correa said he said this in previous interviews going back a few years. He said the only team he would play third base for was whatever team Francisco Lindor was on. Lindor wasn't with the Mets. I don't think he was with the Mets when he said that, but it was more of I will move to third if I get to play with Lindor.
I think the Orioles will definitely be spending too.
Yes, they're close.
They're not going to get they're not going to go probably. I mean, they are in on Carlos Rodon, so I will say that. I don't know what kind of splash they're going to make. I could see it being like an Evaldi, a few other guys. I'd have to look at the free agent market, but yeah, they're going to get a couple moves.
Now, the only other reason the Mets could be on Correa is that there's another team in on him that they don't want to get him, and Cohen is using his money printing machine to raise that price. That happens. Part of the game. Who knows? Dyer, anything that you want to see happen in the league? Anything that you're waiting for?
I will say this. That pitch clock bullshit ain't going to last.
No, it's not.
Not very long. And yes, we do game together. Actually, a lot. Well, we did.
He kicked
good
my
about
ass in FIFA. He kicked my ass. He didn't kick my ass last night in FIFA. He kicked King Jamie's ass in FIFA last night. Ronaldo and I had a good game of FIFA last night. Just saying. Throw that out there.
But I don't know of anybody else that's out there.
Carlos. Yeah. Carlos and Carlos are really the big two left.
Yep.
No, I mean, I like the Josh Bell signing. You know, low risk, high reward. It's a 2-year deal. Not crazy money. I mean, more money than most of the guys on the Indians roster make. But, you know, obviously you're going to have to do that to bring in somebody that has a higher upside. I don't know. Maybe an outfielder to add some depth. They signed Mike Zunino, which I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
Injured a lot last year. I think he was an all-star 2 years ago, though. And it's a 1-year deal. Again, not a ton of money, you know, a few million. But for a team that had almost zero offense added from the catcher position for the entirety of last year, I mean, Austin Hedges calls a great game from behind the plate, but he is a fucking horrible hitter. And you can't just have, especially in the American, well, I guess I can't say especially in the American League since both teams have a DH now, but you can't just have a hole in your lineup like that to where, you know, somebody's just going to bat 190 for 162 games. And I know Hedges didn't play 162 games, but I forget who it was that played otherwise, and he wasn't much better. So, you know, to add somebody that might be able to add some more than that, and I'm not saying that Zunino's going to hit 300, but if he can hit 240, then that's head and shoulders above anything that the Guardians had behind the plate in that position last year. So I think that's a really good pickup. You filled a couple of big gaps there.
Wait,
they're right there.
Cody Bellinger was a Cubby.
He is a Cubby. We forgot about that one.
That was one that just hit me.
That's one thing I do want to actually bring up because I had a debate with some of my friends here. And I wanted to ask you guys to talk about a up and down player. Of course, the last few years for him have been atrocious. He did have 2 very good years. So we know what his ceiling is. We also know what his floor is.
I mean, you can bat 200 and get paid $20 million a year.
You can. Do you think it's a little high?
Who was it that said that? What?
I think it was Choppy.
No,
Yeah.
there was a fucking it was one of the guys for the Astros that came out and
Yeah,
said it.
there was a player who said that.
Player
he
that
said-
was
he
like, I
said-
guess
he
I've
said-
been doing it the wrong way, trying to actually be good.
Because he got a contract. Who was it? Someone got a contract.
Josh
Yeah,
Reddick.
it was Josh Reddick. Yeah.
It's Josh Reddick. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Would you say he's salty? Because it's
making a
actually
point.
true. He's making a point. You can go out
He's
and
not
bat.
wrong.
You can go out and bat 200 and get 20 million, but then if you go out and bat 3 something, you're not getting as big of a contract. I feel like. I
think
mean, you are,
here's-
but you know what I
here's the-
mean.
Here's the big thing with Bellinger. We are talking about a former Rookie of the Year and a former MVP. That said, we're also talking about someone who, in the last 3 years, has not batted his weight. Still a good outfielder. Still a good fielder. That's not debated. But I think that it's a gamble by the Cubs.
If we're going to talk about a guy making $20 million a year because he can play outfield, then Omar Vizquel needs to be in the Hall of Fame because he was one of the greatest defensive shortstops of all time.
Should be in the Hall of
Hands
Fame
down,
anyway.
yeah.
But-
That's okay. Quote from Snag that was quoted from the article. I guess I should have had to try. I should have tried to hit 200 and strike out 150 times a year. Probably could have made 20 million a year at this point.
Woo! Well, there's some fucking fire behind that, baby.
Shots are fired, but can you tell me he's wrong? Tell me he's
No.
wrong.
Cody Bellinger, 210 last year, a 265 OBP, so he's not getting on base either. Let's see here. He had 19 home runs, 68 RBIs, 150 strikeouts.
That's a fucking horrible year.
Yeah,
That's a horrible year.
and that's why I'm trying.
144
And,
games.
and I want Cole to understand this here. You're saying this. I mean, it wasn't wrong, but why would he say it if he's not a bit hurt? He never earned 20 because he could go out there and do better or did better. Probably had a better year at some point, whatever. And he didn't get rewarded like that. This guy literally just batted 200, struck
Batted
out 150
165 in 21.
times. Like, come on.
That is a fucking metrics-based contract. We see it in the decisions that are made on the field, and now the way people are being paid. Because like maybe he'll be good. We'll give him 20 mil a year. How does that make any fucking sense?
Let's see what Gallo gets.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I love
Yeah.
Gallo.
He is getting paid off his MVP year. He's off his Rookie of the Year. He will always have that. That will always help him.
But don't you buy somebody from what they're doing as of
That's right.
recently? I
Now-
don't care what
Rookie
you.
of the year doesn't mean anything. How
Yeah.
many guys have won Rookie of the Year and gone on to be out
Dog
of the
shit?
league in 3 years?
Yeah. Bellinger was benched in the playoffs
He was an MVP. Congrats. That is
in 2019.
awesome. But what have you done since?
Well,
You're
since-
not MVP.
Since
I got
you
a
asked
performance
Derek-
year. I got a performance review at work coming up. I'm going to talk to my boss about how fucking awesome I was 3 years ago and see if I get a raise.
You should. And when you get a raise, you should come back and let us know how it was $20 million.
If that works.
But since you asked, Derek, since his MVP year, he went from batting 305 to batting 239 in 2020. Now, 2020 is asterisk year, Mickey Mouse season, so take that with a grain of salt. He then went to 21 and batted 165.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2022, he batted 210.
So he's batting under 200 the last 2 years, is what you're
Yeah.
telling me.
Considerably under 200. The average would be considerably under 200. You're looking at what, like 180?
I was gonna say maybe 185, but yeah.
With a
Come on,
slugging,
man.
with a slugging under 400
Come
in
on,
both those
man.
years. In fact, he slugged 389 this year, and 21 he slugged 302.
I hope he does. I hope he goes out and balls out and makes me
Yeah.
eat my words, no doubt, or Reddick's words or whoever. I hope he does. But
He does hit well. He does hit well in Wrigley. Historically, he hits very well in Wrigley.
that's fine.
But again, it's
You're playing the numbers game, not playing with what he's been doing recently.
exactly. And I hope it works out for him. I think that if it works out for him, he could bring a lot to the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's an exciting player that the fans could like if he performs. The flip side is if he doesn't perform, all the fans are going to see is $20 million and a sub 200 batting average.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gamble. It's an expensive gamble.
Yeah,
'Cause he's above QO. He's above QO.
God dang. I'm happy for him. That's awesome.
Well, Derek, then you
Get
should
your
go out and
money.
you should go get yourself $15 million this year then.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh my God. I pitched in AAA and I had a 5-something ERA. I better get 50 million 1 year.
Dude, you should get the Grom level AAV there, buddy. If anyone
Look at
gives you
Bellinger.
shit, you say, look at Bellinger.
If Bellinger's numbers are worth 20, you got to be at least worth.
And you know what, Derek? When they say, "Well, he was MVP," you go, "Yeah, I'm on the All Globe Life team. What do you want from me?"
That's true. But that's okay. Oh, I pitched one of the greatest games in the World Series in 2011. Shouldn't that count for something? But here's the thing. It's like, okay, so Cole wrote in, yeah, but he's 27 and it's a 1-year deal. Why not take a flyer?
It's
not
above
for
QO,
20.
that's why.
And not for 20 million.
It's
He's
all
an
because-
elite defender, and the Cubs are just waiting for PCA to be ready, which probably won't be this year. Okay, so you're telling me that you would put 20 million on a flyer, a guy that's been declining the past 2 years.
and you can't sign your own catcher
Yeah.
for what? 85 over 5 years? That's what? 15, 16 a year?
BGM for 1 minute, Cole.
20?
Think about this.
People want to say he's an elite defender, but they don't want to sign a guy where defense means more than
With
any
a
other
fucking
position on the
cannon.
field. Than any other position on the field. You don't want to talk about it there, but you
One
want
of
to
the
talk
best-
about it.
One of the
for
best hitting
fucking-
catchers in the game.
come
His
on.
game calling is the only thing that hurt him this year, but it could be going into the statement of saying, man, I really want to be with the Cardinals. His comment that he made earlier, which is fine. But at the same time, though, that's one of the better catchers in the game. You let him walk, and then you go take a flyer on a guy who is not putting up the numbers on offense like your catcher was.
Not even close. Not even close. Like,
He's one of the
For-
worst defensive catchers in the game. I hate to say it, but it may be for the better.
it may be, but I think the debate here is again, why are you offering Cody Bellinger above QO?
Correct.
Why
After
is he
having
getting
a
above QO?
very down year. Or actually, not as sorry, it was the year before,
He's
but
getting a $3 million raise, by the way.
mm.
Like, don't get me wrong. Pay the dude what they're worth. He's an MVP. He has that experience.
he
That's
does
good.
have that. He has it on his track record, but that was
He's an
5 years ago.
MVP 5 years ago.
But yeah, actually, it's a good point. Jamie brings up a good point. Do you want to talk about a former Cub who got a real flyer? Jason Hayward, minor league deal. That's a flyer.
that's perfect.
That's
well
a-
done, Jamie. That is a flyer right
J-Mid,
there.
Not Jamie. J-Mid.
Oh, I thought you said Jamie.
Oh, it just came out quickly. But
That's a flyer.
it's a flyer. Does that mean that you give Bellinger a minor league deal? No. He could still earn his way on a major league roster. You could still offer millions, but not above QO. Not when there are legitimate players.
The thing is,
good players taking under QO.
with Hayward's contract too, he has a big league invite. He makes the team. I don't know what the offer is. So let's say it's $6 million. That's a flyer. That is 100% a flyer.
It just to me, just the Cubs. Now, I've had this talk with Tyler recently, our editor. We had a long talk about it yesterday or 2 days ago. And the Cubs may be looking forward. They do have young guys. They may be looking forward into saying, hey, maybe we can't be where we want to be this year, next year. My counterpoint to that, and yes, you might be right. The Cubs are the Cubs might feel they're not as close. Here's my counterpoint. They were 5 games off a wild card this year. They were the third best team with that roster in Major League Baseball after the All-Star break.
Also, does any
You were
team have
that close.
and does any team have such a laissez-faire attitude towards their total salary that they can just say, well, if we set 20 million on fire, no big deal. No big deal. I know the Cubs are playing with all the chips on the planet when it comes to comparatively to most of the teams.
What? Did we just
All but
become best
6
friends?
teams in the league, let's say. But come on. That's a lot of money just to say, well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Well, the other thing is he's saying you can't compare 34-year-old Hayward to Bellinger, but yeah, it was probs and overpay. How can you not, though? I get it. He's 34. Both outfielders. Both didn't have the greatest of years.
Can you call Bellinger's year a year? Other than the fact that it was a literal year?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like
Contreras struggled after the All-Star. We'll get to that in a second, though. But I'm just trying to get to the comparison part here. Like,
I just
they're both taking. They both got flyers, and one got way overpaid for his flyer.
$20
yeah.
million, it can never. It's not a flyer, and I know that's not your term. You're using the term that's being thrown out there, but it's not. It's just not.
Right.
It's nowhere close to it. A flyer is what Jason Hayward got. A flyer would be,
What
someone
I've been
giving-
getting every year.
Correct. That's a flyer. Correct. It's 17.5. It's Bellinger's contract with the possibility of going to 20. But either way, that's overpaying. You're
Mhm.
You're overpaying the dude, and I just don't.
You're rewarding guys for batting for offense. You're rewarding guys that aren't performing to what they should be. It's like no longer is batting 300 the key. Now it's 250.
And hopefully Bellinger, has a great year.
I really
and
do. I
earns
hope he
that
does
money,
too.
because he's it's better for baseball when he's playing. He's flashy. He's got a good glove. Got a good arm. When he bats well, it's amazing. I hope he gets back there, and if he does, then it could really help the Cubs out, because they're really close. They were really close last year, even with their roster issues last year.
Yeah.
To only be 5 games out. Like, here's what I don't understand, and we'll talk. And I've said this before, but with the expanded playoffs, you no longer need to play for first.
Yeah, you just got to get in.
You just got to get in. You just got to get in. And remind me, Dyer, who was in the World Series this year?
Philadelphia Phillies
And-
and the Houston Astros.
And where did Philadelphia finish in the NL East?
I don't know where they finished in the NL East, but I think they were the last team in all of baseball to get in, right?
That's all that matters. Get to the dance. Get to the dance. That's it.
I thought they were
Because-
going to get swept.
Because frankly,
Not in the World Series, in the divisional round.
only the Astros were the only like first place team to have any sort of real success in the postseason that didn't flame out. Dodgers flamed out. Braves flamed out. The Mets choked against the Padres. The Cardinals choked. Like, it don't matter what your position is. Dodgers, biggest choke artist of the century. The Dodgers excuse the Mets choking. So it's like, just get to the dance. That's all that matters. Get there. All you gotta do is get in the playoffs. So when you're in the playoffs, the whole season goes away. The whole slate gets wiped clean. And wild things happen. Wild things happen.
The fun begins.
One more baseball thing I want to talk about real quick. Because we are doing a 2-part episode today, because we're about to do something fun. So this happened at the same time that a certain reporter dropped an inaccurate reporting of where Aaron Judge was going. And I don't think this was a coincidence, because he's done it before. But there was another study done on the baseballs this year.
Yep,
I encourage you guys to look at this if you guys haven't seen it already. I will put the link to it in both chats. It is not a false link. It's not like a maybe. This is pretty definitive evidence. Basically, here's what happened. So they did the study last year about the balls being different, and they found that MLB used 2 distinctly different balls. This year, they did the study again and found that Major League Baseball used 3 distinct different balls. They used the dead balls, which is the current baseball that was meant for 2022. They used some juice balls, which were the original juice balls, and then they used something called a Goldilocks ball. Now, the Goldilocks ball is a ball that performed the way the baseballs were intended to perform. They weren't too hot. They weren't too cold. They performed way better than the dead balls. They weren't as crazy as the juice balls. So it was basically a ball that everybody liked. Now, here's the crazy part about these findings. So the perfect balls, the Goldilocks balls, were found. And as I go through this, Dyer, and we'll go with Dyer. Dyer, tell me if it makes sense or not, all right? Goldilocks balls were found at the All-Star game.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Commemorative baseball, so baseballs that were printed just for like a one-off. Example, the Texas Rangers 50th anniversary baseballs.
Makes sense.
Okay. The playoffs.
Makes sense, I guess.
Regular season games involving the Yankees and only the New York Yankees.
No fucking sense whatsoever, other than the fact that the league wants the Yankees to be on a different level.
Now, I must preface this. This in no way takes away from what Aaron Judge did. He still had to hit the baseball.
Correct. But
And I will bet, though, that majority of the home runs he hit, it didn't matter what ball he hit it.
oh, he said a far one off of me.
Yeah. I don't think that's... I don't want people to think I'm going after Aaron Judge or the Yankees, because I don't really think they had anything to do with this.
Yeah. No, you're
It's no fault of the Yankees.
None. And there should not be an asterisk on Judge's home run record or anything like that. At all.
no.
And I hate the Yankees. They had nothing to do with this.
That said, Derek, as a professional athlete who plays, who knows, in Major League Baseball, as a player, how would you feel about a team getting special treatment with a ball that seems to be perfect? Doesn't have to be the Yankees, just a general question.
I'd be pissed. A ball that's perfect? I'd be pissed.
Why can't you just use it all the time for everybody?
That's what I've always wondered. Why do we keep changing the fucking balls?
I saw an argument. Someone said, well, it wasn't just the Yankees got to use it. It was whoever was playing the Yankees. Yes, but if the Yankees always get to use it, then that means that they're the only team that always gets to use that baseball.
It benefits them more than it does every other team in the league, because every other team in the league doesn't play the Yankees every day.
Again, it's not a fault of the New York Yankees, nor is it a fault of Aaron or anything like that. But what blows my mind is when the commissioner came out and challenged these findings. A few things happened. One, players were threatened not to send the baseballs to this third party who's doing the analysis. There are players on record in this story saying we were explicitly threatened and told not to send those baseballs in or people would lose their jobs. The players wouldn't lose their jobs, but the people who they sent the baseballs through would lose their jobs. And the players who were named in this article, not wanting to be a bad person, not wanting to have someone lose their job, yielded to that threat. Number one. Number two, they went out of their way to try to make sure that this woman who's doing the study wouldn't get the ball in any way. Sent their own balls that were not game used to 2 independent laboratories to get analysis. MLB sanctioned laboratories. Dyer, would you be surprised to know that those laboratories are not releasing their findings publicly?
Imagine fucking that.
And would it also surprise you that none of the balls they sent to those laboratories were game used?
Not at all.
And the third thing about this that got crazy was that the commissioner said this research was just plain not right, and then basically challenged how they know this and what their credentials are. Let me tell you what their credentials are. They're a fucking astrophysicist. Find me a smarter individual on the planet than an astrophysicist.
Don't ask Rob Manfred, because he'll tell you himself.
I'm just enjoying you guys talking about it.
When they said this, it brought me back to a movie that a few people have seen. But there's a movie out there that I've watched a few times. It's a good movie. Fuck, I just forgot the name of it now. Called Margin Call. Dyer, have you seen this movie?
What?
I've
Did
not
we just
seen it.
become best
Great
friends?
movie. It's on
Yeah.
Netflix. Stars Zachary Quinto. Really good movie. And Kevin Spacey. It's all about the fall of the stock market and how one person in a company found a fault inside of the algorithm they were using that basically predicted the fall of the stock market in the early 2000s. So something similar happened, and that movie just made me think of this, which is this person found this and then brought it up to the head of the company, basically, and then they sat him down and they looked through his resume and they said, well, what's your CV? Been with the company for 3 years. Okay, but like, what's your background? And the guy goes, well, what's up? I got my bachelor's from so and so, my master's from so and so, my PhD from this other place. What was your PhD in? My PhD was on forward momentum and rocket burn on re-entry. And there was silence, and they go, so you're a rocket scientist? Yes, but it's all just numbers, just how you apply it. And then there's
Sure.
no questions asked after that. This woman's an astrophysicist. This woman knows what she's talking about when it comes to mathematics. She doesn't have to understand baseball. She doesn't have to understand baseball to understand math. And she does understand baseball, which makes it even better. She's a baseball fan. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to watch a baseball game and distinctly hear two different sounds when different balls are being used. But it does take a rocket scientist to expose this. And the fact that Major League Baseball is still denying it over and over and over and over again to me is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just say you're doing it. Take your booze for a little bit. And I guarantee you everyone forgets about it.
This is borderline game fixing. Like, this is something, and I usually say that professional sports should be left out of the government and U.S. Congress and all this. But if we're interviewing people back in the 2000s about steroid use, we sure as fuck better be interviewing people about this. Because this is not something like the steroid issue where it was so widespread that there were more people doing it than weren't. This was sequestered to a very small number of games for a specific team. And it was done by the league and by the league only if these allegations are true.
And not only that, let's not forget Major League Baseball owns a big stake in Rawlings, the company that makes the baseballs. Major League Baseball now basically owns Fanatics, the company that will be making baseball cards for the foreseeable future. Major League Baseball also owns a heavy amount in sports gambling. They own those companies. So now it's not, is this match fixing? It's legitimately, is this match fixing?
Right?
Because there is money on the line. And you don't need to fix the game by telling, hey, Derek, I need you to walk this guy. No, you just got to make sure Derek gets a shitty baseball. And just let the rest happen.
Yep.
And
Fixing doesn't always require the cooperation of those who are involved
And it
in
doesn't always
in the
work.
contest itself.
it doesn't always work. I'm using Derek as a hypothetical here, but maybe Derek takes that shitty baseball and absolutely shoves with it. But that's statistically an anomaly.
Yeah.
You do that over and over and over again, you're gonna make your money. I think there's only one other sports organization right now on the planet that's more fishy than Major League Baseball. Do you guys have an idea what organization I think that is?
I may have a idea of who you're going to say.
I
There's
think
a sporting event going on right now that involves them.
basketball.
FIFA.
FIFA.
Oh shit, I wasn't okay.
The most corrupt organization on the planet. It's not close. Like in terms of sporting, they're the most corrupt organization on the planet. It's not close. Baseball making me feel a little something about the way that things have been going. speaking of soccer, real quick, everyone's talking about Major League Baseball players getting huge contracts. Derek, how about Cristiano Ronaldo getting $212 million a year?
Wow.
Yow.
A year.
Maybe he's gonna come buy a baseball team.
He could get paid $212 million a year.
I know.
He's fine. My dude's fine.
I'm not arguing that.
Of course, the World Cup is going on. The United States, unfortunately, bounced in the round of 16 by the Netherlands. But don't worry, though, you soccer fans. I'm one of you guys. We have a young team, very young team. We're the third youngest team in the World Cup. I think we're being in good position in the U.S. for when it's here. Besides, those crowds are going to be nuts.
Did anybody
Sounds
expect
good,
them to get to the round of 16, especially in?
Yes, but not the way they did. So it was expected that they would beat Wales, or they were going to beat Iran and tie with Wales, and probably lose to England. Instead, we
Right.
went toe to toe with England. Should have beat Wales. We lost on a dumb penalty. Dumb meaning it was a real penalty. We committed a penalty we shouldn't have.
Yeah, it was a bad
It was a
penalty.
Bad penalty. And then we beat Iran like we were supposed to. So yes, we were supposed to make it, but not in the way that people thought we would.
What? Did we just become best friends?
This whole World Cup's been kind of nuts with teams making who shouldn't make it. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Messi, of course, is going to the final. Argentina won today. We'll face either the winner of France or Morocco. Morocco, the first African team to ever make the round of 16, and it's the first African team every single time they make another round.
It's cool.
So-
I'm rooting for Morocco, baby. Let's do it. Great food in Morocco as well. Never been there, but I know their food's fantastic.
But yeah, Moroccan food's really good actually. Good point there, Dyer. But yeah, that's what's going on in the sports world. Alexander Ovechkin on a quest to beat find a little goal record there. I think he'll probably end up doing that in the next year or two. Any other sports things we want to talk about, folks?
Quick mention, I know we don't talk about it a whole lot on the podcast here, but how about the UFC this past weekend?
With the decision that shouldn't have been.
Ooh, a couple. 12 fights, 10 of them finished inside the distance.
What? Did we
So,
just become best friends?
KO or submission for the first 10 fights of the card. And then we get Paddy Pimblett goes out there and gets the gift decision. Like, he got his Christmas present early because there's no way he won that fight
No.
against Joe Gordon. And then we get the light heavyweight championship that ends in a split draw where I didn't think that there was any way that Jan Blachowicz lost any of the first 3 rounds. He definitely lost 4 and 5. I don't think Magomed Ankalaev did anywhere near enough to score a 10-8 in the 5th. Not because he wasn't dominant, because he wasn't active. He took him down and just kind of laid on him for the most part. But he gets 10-8s on 2 cards, and that's all she wrote. A split draw, because we had one judge score the fight for Jan Blachowicz. The second judge scored it for Magomed Ankalaev, and the third judge scored rounds 1, 2, and 3 for Blachowicz, but then 4 and 5 went to Ankalaev, with the 5th being a 10-8, which makes that a 47-47 card. He scores it a draw. It's a 1-1 draw. Fucking incredible. And so now we've got a vacant title still, and they announce in the post-fight interview from Dana White that Glover Teixeira, who was supposed to fight Magomed Ankalaev and said, no, I'm not going to do that because he was supposed to, before that, fight Yuri Prohaska, who drops with an injury. Glover says, I'm not fighting Magomed. He's too different. I'm not prepared for that fight. So they don't even have him in the fight at all. And now it's looking like he's the mastermind because now he's fighting the guy that's number 7 in the division for the title in a month. In his backyard in Rio de Janeiro. He's a Brazilian guy. So how does he lose that fight?
He won't.
He won't.
Because the refs won't make it out.
I'm telling you, man. Incredible. We're going to have Teixeira as the champion again.
The only way he loses that is if he ends up on his ass and doesn't get back up again. But UFC's in a weird spot again. That's another organization that I love the UFC. Dana White's done some really good things bringing that organization up. But there are some legitimate questions about scoring in the UFC and that not being unionized, not having a true fight union to make sure that the rules are the same across the board without issues, different certifications in different states, USADA being all over the map. There's some fixing that needs to go on in that organization, I think, too.
Well, just the fact too, because this happened since we were on last as well, but I found out, which I didn't know, that the UFC doesn't have a policy against fight personnel and fighters and fight camps not gambling on fights. They don't have a written policy for that.
That's stupid.
That's incredible, especially in a sport like combat sports where there have been issues since day one, since like boxing started. You know, people fixing fights and shit like that. That a combat sports organization wouldn't have a written policy for that. That's strange.
What?
But
Did we just
I'm sure
become
they will
best
now,
friends?
given what happened about a month ago.
Real quick, just because I see this in here, will you post the VOD in your channel, Derek? Every episode of Off the Fair Poll is edited and posted on Spotify, usually within a few days. At Off the Fair Poll on Spotify, you can find us there, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. We're all over the place. All of our past episodes are there as well. So if you want to go take a listen to that, you can. Again, it's Off the Fair Poll on Spotify. Everything is there. So if you want to listen in the car ride, you want to listen at work, everything is there. All of our episodes going all the way back is there. This is a two-parter, so we're about to go to part 2. Is there anything else we want to talk about in this episode before we take a quick little break?
I don't think so. I don't have anything.
Awesome. So I'm going to do a little outro here, guys, so our editor's happy, and then we're going to take a quick little minute break just to get everything set up, and we're coming back and doing a really cool episode. But thanks for listening to Off the Fair Poll. For myself, Terps, Derek, and Dyer, Choppy, and Gnome, thank you for listening. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you find us. Be sure to give us a like, a follow, and a comment. It does help us out. We'll be back for more episodes. We have another one coming out right after this one, so be sure to stay tuned for that one. For all of us here, thanks for listening. Have a wonderful evening. See ya.
Deuces.
Guys, we're not actually going anywhere, so stay.
We're still here.
We're still here. I just have to restart Craig, so it makes life easier.
Gives me time to go pee pee.
Exactly. Take a pee break. We're staying here, guys. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We got another one.
You definitely want to stay for this one.
This one's gonna be fun.
This is the Christmas draft. While you're doing that, I'm going to go pee pee.
Yep. So go take a.
And I'm going to change shirts too, so it looks different.
I'm wearing red.
That's perfect. Christmas colors.
I couldn't find my Christmas hat.
Yeah, dude. That Paddy Pimblett fight, I could not fucking believe. Like, I was shocked. Shocked. When they read those scorecards, I was like, okay, exactly right. 29-28. Jared Gordon won that fight. And they said Paddy Pimblett, and I almost shit on my couch.
I think everybody did. I think everybody did.
It was unfucking believable, man.
Dude.
I think I saw an article the other day that I think it said 15 of the 16 major MMA outlets scored that fight for Jared Gordon. And hearing you hear the cage side guys sometimes question decisions.
Yes.
But it was just almost silent when they read that scorecard. And there's even one, there's a view where somebody took cell phone footage or something of Joe Rogan. He was standing in the octagon when they read the decision. And he made a face and looked over at, I don't know who it was he looked at, but he was like, what the fuck? The look on his face was obvious. He was like, really?
That's just...
And then the complete lack of awareness from Paddy after the fight, where he's like, oh yeah, just the hubris and telling everybody that they're assholes if they don't think you won and all this shit. Come on. You were in that fight. You know you didn't win, or at least you know it should have been close. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
And that's Jared Gordon. He's not even ranked. And 155 is one of the deepest divisions in the UFC.
in the UFC.
You put that guy against somebody at the back end of the top 5 or back into the top 10. Forget about the top 5. Dustin Poirier knocks him out today. Justin Gaethje knocks him out today. Charles Oliveira knocks him out today.
Yeah.
Today.
But instead, you get this.
I want to see him fight. Fuck it. I want to see them give him somebody that can strike, somebody that's a high level striker,
Yeah.
because he'll
I
get
agree.
fucking wrecked.
I
And
agree.
I like Paddy Pimblett. I think guys that are vocal and brazen and brash are good for the UFC and combat sports in general, because that sells fights, right? That makes it interesting. I love guys that are technically sound, but leading up to fights, it's not bad if they're quiet and stoic, but it's not selling fights.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you excited for it. I
Right.
love Stipe Miocic, but he
Oh.
was that guy. He just kind of, okay, I'll let my hands speak for themselves. That's fine. I love Stipe,
True.
but Stipe wasn't selling pay-per-views, and he's arguably the best heavyweight in UFC history.
I'm gonna run to use the bathroom super quick. You continue ranting. It's all being recorded. This is great. This is great.
That's the fucking truth, though, man.
Dyer, the floor is yours for about 2 minutes.
Well, not only that, you talk about people that aren't self-aware. And again, the first round was close in that light heavyweight championship. So Magomed Ankalaev comes out after that fight and was so incredulous and saying that he doesn't know if he's ever going to fight for the UFC again, and he deserves the belt. Where's my belt? I don't know about all that. You know, you got your ass whipped in 2 and 3 and probably lost 1. He landed 10 significant strikes, I think, in the 4th and 18 in the 5th. And you want to tell me that that's enough to sew it up and say that you won the belt? Okay, great. You take the guy down and you stick him into the mat and don't let him up. Awesome. There's more than just positioning that goes into it. You get him there. Now you got to do something with it. He didn't attempt submissions. He didn't really do a whole lot to threaten a finish. 28 significant strikes in 2 rounds, and one of those they give you a 10-8. That's not a 10-8 round. Not that I can see. And you take that 10-8 round away on the 3rd scorecard, not the 2nd one. But you take it away on the draw scorecard, and that's a win for Jan Blachowicz. His second judge, I think it was Derek Cleary, scored it 10-8 as well, but he also gave the 3rd round to Magomed, which also makes no fucking sense. But even then, if he makes it and puts it where it should be to give round 3 to Jan, it's still a draw. Now it's a majority draw instead of a split draw. But that 10-8 in the 4th, or the 5th rather, was the one that really got me. Yes, he was dominant. I don't think he was dominant enough for a 10-8.
Who are you talking to?
I'm just talking.
Sorry. Can you see me?
Yeah,
Look at that.
I like your jacket. That's fucking sick.
I
Is that a starter jacket?
Yes,
or is
it is.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I found one, and yeah, I had to show that to you today.
That is fire, dude.
I got these new lights too that are freaking dope. That are now in the pool room. So I have a Browns that says "Welcome to the Dog Pound," and it's got the light, and then I've got "Let's Go Blue" for Michigan, and then I've got the Browns helmet. They're all LED lights, dude. So sick.
Hell yeah, you have to show me those. That jacket though, 30 years ago, you were getting beat up in an alley, and somebody was taking that from you.
Yeah,
I saw
this thing
that
is
jacket when it came in.
comfy. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, dude, this thing.
Derek was so excited.
No, this is the other one. You saw the other one. You have my.
Oh,
you
you're
saw
right, I
the
saw the
button
other
down.
one.
This is my starter jacket. So I've got the button down one, and I think I wore that one up to Cleveland, so Dyer might have seen that one, but it was not cold out. It was actually nice. And then there's this one that just showed up.
Yeah, it was unseasonably warm when we were up there.
It's been that way here except for today. Today was, which I do want to say prayers to all those that are here in Texas. There was 4 tornadoes, I think, or 5 tornadoes. I almost drove through 2 of them.
Ooh.
That's how crazy it was.
Yeah, this weather system coming through is no joke.
That was this morning. All right, I got to take this off, and then you can start it up, Terps, if you want.
Yep. All right.
We're lucky in the Midwest. We're only going to
gonna
get rain.
I'm gonna wait for Derek to put his headphones back on so we can hear this. I'm excited for this one.
So am I, man. This is going to be fun. I love this.
Did you make a copy of the draft fill out board so you have one, Dyer?
Yeah, well, I got it on my phone.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat so people can play along with us. See what we're doing. I love that shirt. Oh,
Pardon my Frenchie. That's what it says.
We are already recording, so I just got to do intro for this. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2nd annual draft night of Off the Fair Poll. We did this last year for Halloween, our fantasy candy draft. Be sure you go listen to that one. It's on Spotify. Great listen. Fuck Almond Joys. Go listen to the episode. You'll understand.
Agreed.
You know what, Dyer? Fuck Almond Joys. But awesome event. We're doing it again this year. We hope we could have gotten everyone together, but it's just schedules are tight. So it's going to be 3 of us doing this. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to put a copy of the draft board in both chats so you guys can play along, take a look at it if you guys want, and we will explain what is going on, exactly what this is. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off the Fair Poll Christmas Fantasy Draft. Tyler, cue the Christmas music. Thank you. How is it going to work? It's work just like any other draft that you do in sports. There are a few different options to choose from. If you take a look at our board, we have mains. That would be like your quarterbacks. So you get to pick one main. We have food, which is our sides. You get to pick 3 of those. Desserts. You get to pick 2 of those. Because it's Christmas, we're going to talk about Christmas movies. You get to pick 1 of those. And then our big throwaway category is traditions. Now, a little bit different. Traditions, you get 3 rounds. In each round, you pick 2. So you get to pick 6 total traditions. There are some differences in this one than in the candy draft. I have put in a flex position in the traditions. There are 4 flex picks available in the tradition, which means if you want to pick 1 more main or 1 more side or 1 more dessert or 1 more movie, you can. But it takes 1 of your tradition picks. Keep that in mind. There's only 3 of us here, so we're going to randomize the draft as we go from round to round to round, as opposed to doing a snake draft, because otherwise it just gets a little weird. But Derek, Dyer, do you guys have any questions about the draft? Do you guys have everything up? Anything you guys want to know or anything you want to say going into this? Specifically you, Dyer, seeing as you have how do we say this, hot takes.
No, I got this. I know exactly where I'm going.
I don't know exactly where I'm going to go. I think there's going to be some early pops from my side, but I feel like since it's only us 3, I feel like maybe we should add 1 to each one of the categories. But well, again,
we can do what we did last year, and go back and do a bonus round.
Okay, that's fine.
Because remember there are flex picks.
I understand. I just because I felt like obviously just us. That was a big one that stood out. But yes, you are good.
Someone was yelling. I'm good. But chat, feel free to play along if you guys want to take a look at the link. Feel free to tell us what you guys think. Now,
don't be afraid to voice your opinion too. It will get brought up. If you have something good to throw at these arguments that are out there, you don't like a pick, please voice it out. Let us hear what you've got, because it only adds fuel to the fire, and that's what we want. This is not supposed to be a peaceful thing. I just want to point that out. This is not a peaceful draft.
It's going to get heated.
Yes.
Full attack mode.
As it should. And we want the attacks to come from you as well. So don't feel like you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. Tell us we're stupid. We get it. If we make a pick that you don't like, I want to know about it. And I know they do too. Dyer, the only thing that sucks, I wish you could do this, was pull up our Twitch to where you'd be able to see everybody's comments so that way you could fire back at them. But I'll do my best to make sure, and I know Terps will too, to get those opinions out there, because that's something that we definitely want, is for you guys to be involved in this.
Because there's only 3 of us, we are not doing snake draft. Whoever is second would get absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Um,
I will be eating those shortly. My food is about to be here too, so that'll be perfect. I had to get something quick because
did
I
Derek
can
hear
actually
the-
pull up Twitch on
Is,
my iPad.
Was
I think.
was the text that you just sent meant to come through a lot earlier?
what text?
I just got in the group chat a text just came through asking about the game plan because the Mavs game tomorrow.
It just now went through?
It just now went through.
Okay, I sent that. Let's take a look here.
I'm pretty sure I got that a while back.
I just got it. now.
4:17 today.
I just got it now.
Yeah, because the only reason I really want to go to that game tomorrow, it's the Mavs and the Cavs.
Yeah.
And also, I won't be going to the game on Friday, so that was why.
We are not going to be doing a snake draft just because whoever gets second will be absolutely screwed. We're just going to do a random. I have a random number generator up 1 through 3, and we'll just go in order of.
Just do alphabetical.
Yeah. So actually, Derek Dyer.
I was going to do Dutch Dyer, but yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, that works too. So Derek will be 1, Dyer will be 2. I'll be
I would
3.
still would have been 1 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, same
Derek
thing.
Either
Dyer, yeah. So it's fine.
Either way. So just remember your numbers: 1, 2, 3.
I'm 1,
Should-
number
should be
1.
8. You know, I'm 3rd.
So,
But again, how this draft's going to work, just so everyone understands, is on the same page here. The draft is about your best Christmas you can make for yourself. That's why it's going to be subjective. Some people will like it, some people won't like it. There will be some picks that I will want that I will not get. There is no trading allowed. There is no trading picks allowed. So no
That's kinda funny.
gamesmanship, Dyer.
that's funny.
It is just straight out picking. And then afterwards, of course, our editor will give his takes on the podcast, just like he did last year, as to which one he thinks won. And we also would love to hear what your guys' takes, what you guys would take first, second, third overall, that kind of thing. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Christmas draft. Be sure you have it up so you can follow along with us. 'Cause it's gonna get heated. It's gonna get heated, especially because I know what Dyer's gonna pick for some things already. I'm not about it. Not about it. But I don't have my draft sound just because it got a little crazy last time, so we're not gonna do a draft sound. If Tyler wants to be nice and insert a jingle bell before each pick, great.
Hey, can you get it to where I can type in mine? Because it has view only.
So for you want for the fill out, you want one that
Yeah.
you can type?
Unless if you're typing them all in.
No, so if you go to fill out, actually, here's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna share with you.
Quick break, real quick. Ovechkin just scored his 800th goal.
yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
did.
Somebody did put that in the chat earlier.
Hit file, Derek,
Mm-hmm.
under the draft fill out, and then hit make a copy. When you click file, you should see new, open, import, make a copy.
And then now I can do it.
Yeah, now you'll have your own copy of it.
Okay. So I don't have to
And-
worry about, I can
No.
get rid of that one then.
You can type whatever you want in just yours. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see it?
Nope. What I'm gonna do on the main one, on the main Christmas draft everyone's viewing, when something's picked, I'm gonna black it out.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll
That's
be
fine.
gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. So we have the fighting Terrapins. We have the excuse my Frenchies, and we have the Almond Joy sucks team.
Wait, who's the Almond Joy sucks?
No, it's
Fire.
the almond joyous time of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. Very creative.
That's not bad. All right. God, actually, I gotta do it this way. I fucked it up, guys. I fucked it up. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the first overall pick, Dyer, myself, Derek.
Mm.
Dyer, you're on the board.
I thought Derek got the first one.
No,
I thought
That
it was
was just the-
alphabetical.
I know, but that was just
No.
the numbers.
that's just the numbers.
Holy shit. Okay. Wow. Well, I was not prepared for that.
So with the
Um,
first pick of the Christmas draft.
Which time do I get? You know what? I think Here's where I'll start. Traditions, I think, are deep. Traditions are fun, but deep, deep category we've got there. It's kind of like, wide receivers in the last couple of years in the NFL draft. I think that mains are a little bit thin.
That's the
and I think
quarterbacks. The quarterbacks.
It is. Really is. Movies, I think. There are some Christmas movies I think that are a struggle to watch every year. There are a few mainstays, and there's one in particular on this list that everybody seems to fucking love, and I fall asleep within 10 minutes of it every time. So have fun if somebody fucking picks that one. I'm going to grill it. But I'm going to go. First overall pick. It's going to be Maine. Prime rib.
That's a strong pick.
I was worried.
A strong pick. That's
I
a
was
strong
worried.
pick.
I'm not going to
What
talk
were you-
shit on that. No. It's fine. Correa to the Giants has been posted. $350 million over 13 years.
Good for him.
Wow. Congrats on that one.
Good for him.
All right, carry
The
on.
Giants.
I am seeing average pick in the chat. I'm seeing an
Average pick.
I don't have
I-
anything yet. I don't have anything.
Okay, you know what? Everybody's saying average pick. You can suck it because half the people that are cooking pork tenderloin are going to dry it out. Half the people cooking turkey are going to dry it out. Ham sucks. Fish, who makes fish for fucking Christmas?
It's traditional.
Roast lamb. Roast lamb is something that most people don't know how to cook properly. Goose and duck, most people don't know how to cook properly. So unless you have a professional chef in your family, I'm going prime rib. It's the most delicious, the most tasty of all of these meats on the list here, and also the one that's hardest for the casual cook to fuck up, in my opinion. Long as you got yourself a meat thermometer and you know your way around a kitchen a little bit on how to cook, especially how to cook a fatty hunk of meat, you shouldn't fuck up a prime rib.
You know, I can't even talk shit about that one. I'm with Derek here. That's a
I wasn't
solid
saying
first
anything.
pick.
I just left
That's
you
a
alone.
solid pick. Yeah.
Nobody's
I guess
saying anything in my chat, so I think they agree.
No, I just have one average pick. Average pick. Chat again. Feel free to throw it at us. Tell us where we're wrong, where we're right. We want to hear it. We want to hear it from you guys. So I guess I'm up, right? Yeah, I'm up. See, I'm kind of in the same boat as Dyer. I feel like I have to establish my mains here. You know, just because the mains picking are slim as to what I personally like, and I think I just need to go for it. I think I just need to go out there. I need to get my main early. There's a lot of sides I like. There's a lot of desserts I like. Movies, there's a few of them I like, and traditions are deep. I'm there with Dyer all the way through. That said, I'm gonna go to mains, and I'm a little more traditional here. So feel free to grill me on this. I'm taking turkey. I'm doing a smoked turkey this year. Nice juicy turkey. If your turkey's dry, you don't know how to cook turkey. I said it.
I'm not arguing there.
A lot of people
So-
don't know how to fucking cook turkey.
I do. I know how to cook turkey. So I am taking turkey as my first overall pick. Listen, I understand it's a safe pick. I'm okay with it being a safe pick. But excuse me. Turkey I think is where I'm going there. Mr. Dyer went with prime rib. Mr. Terps went with turkey. Derek, you are on the clock.
Well, I don't want to screw this up because this was left available for me, and my mother does such an unbelievable job with this. It's as we talk traditional to enjoy this, and I just felt that the pick for this will be just right. Don't see too many people making any arguments with this. So the first pick from the Pardon My Frenchies, we have selected the pork tenderloin in the first round. Wendy does an
Wow,
outstanding job with that.
Okay.
I can't take anything away from there. Well done, Mom. You were my first pick here for this one with your pork tenderloin. You do an outstanding job.
I don't know a lot of people who do pork tenderloin for Christmas. I like it. I like that.
We are a different type
either.
of family.
You know, do you guys do pork tenderloin or pork at all for New Year's as well? Because that's a big traditional New Year's food, right? The pork and sauerkraut.
My New Year's food is generally whatever pizza place wants to deliver to my house. That's generally my New Year's. my New Year's pick. Do we need a few minutes to get our second picks ready, or can
I think
go
we'll be
ahead
all
and roll
right.
this?
I think we're gonna be good to do it.
Dyer, you ready to go?
Okay, I was getting ready to say, I was like, that's why you
because-
waited.
Because Dyer, the order for this round: 2, 1, 3. Dyer, you get the first pick in the second round again. You must have had some good trades in the offseason from your candy draft, man. That coming in last with the almond joys, I bet you that's why he's getting all these first picks, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
The people felt bad for him. People felt bad for him.
I respect that.
You know what?
Remember, guys, there is a flex pick in traditions, so the mains are not completely off the board yet. That's why Derek did what he did.
Okay, while I'm looking at this, I'm going to
Dude,
I'm going to talk a little bit about our first picks because turkey I like if it's done properly, but I also feel like turkey itself is a flavorless protein. You have to put a whole bunch of stuff.
Smoke it.
But you see that's the thing. Most of that flavor is coming from that smoke flavor. You're crisping
Exactly.
up that skin too. The meat itself doesn't stand on its own
But you
very
know what,
well.
You know
And
what's
I'm
good
not saying
about
turkey's a bad choice. I'm not saying that. And if you have to know exactly what you're doing, or you're gonna
I
fuck
do.
it all
I
up
do.
and dry it out. I know you do,
King Turkey here.
but I think you're probably a better cook than most of the people.
Listen, I'll say this right now.
we know.
If you struggle cooking a turkey, smoking a turkey is incredibly easy and very hard to fuck up. Just saying that. If you have a smoker, especially if you have a pellet grill or electric pellet grill that can kind of run itself, super easy. Leaves your oven open for other things. Not
Sure.
difficult. Not difficult.
Not hating
And-
on that.
And here's the thing with turkey, Dyer, right? Okay, leftover prime rib is, it's all right. It's okay.
It's true.
It is what leftover pork tenderloin. It's all right. It is what it is. No one in their life has ever complained about leftover turkey.
Leftover turkey is very versatile.
No
would
one has
venture
ever
to
complained
say-
about that.
I'd venture to say leftover turkey is better than day of turkey.
I would argue that turkey's the deepest pick in that round right there.
It's got
The most long-term potential.
okay. I'm with you there. Pork tenderloin, delicious meat if done properly. Very temperamental though. Difficult to cook properly. Thin margin of error there. You overcook pork, then that shit's fucking ruined.
Dry.
You undercook pork, you've got trichinosis. So you got to get it in that little window. It sounds like Wendell knows her way around a pork tenderloin, so good on her.
That's what I'm
A
saying.
lot of
I think
people don't.
that's what I'm saying. I think the pardon my Frenchies over there, they have a good mains coach there. So I think that's why they went that route. For sure.
We have a really good thing going here.
All right, Dyer, are you ready for your second round? First overall pick of the second round.
Yes, I am ready. And this is one of my personal favorites, not just for the holidays, but anytime. Maybe this is going to get some hate, but this one I think is also one of the most versatile in the general food category. This is something that is an appetizer. It's a side dish. It's a grazer for the whole day while you're making your Bloody Marys or whatever it is in the morning. Pick at some of these a little bit, while you're cooking, you pick it a little bit more. All right. In between meals, you're picking. You got your movies on, whatever you're doing, opening presents, you're picking. Okay. I'm going with charcuterie.
Oh, that's a good pick. Okay.
I mean, I like it. I don't know if that was something
Second
that
overall
needs
pick,
to
though.
come off the board that quick. I think that's an early pop. I feel like we just got a kicker taken in the second round. That was that's an early take right there on that one. I'm
Here's the thing with charcuterie boards too. I've had some really bad charcuterie boards.
agreed. I
I've
like
had some
it.
fire charcuterie boards too.
I like it, but is it something that wasn't going to be around in the later rounds?
I don't know. I mean,
I feel like that's an early
I
pop.
wasn't going there. I wasn't going there yet.
Team Frenchie
I
says no.
I look at a lot of food in this category. It's a lot of food a lot of people like. It's a lot of food I don't like.
And again, this is your team. That's why you're going to be in last.
No, I have to ask. No, I have to ask you, Dyer. I have to ask you. Okay, when you do a charcuterie board, first of all, are you that guy who puts like the little pepperonis, the little salamis, and Ritz crackers, calls it our charcuterie board, or do you go out and actually get like true charcuterie?
No, you gotta go out there and get the goody good.
Okay.
You gotta get some nuts in there. You got some
Of
fruit,
course you want some nuts
dried
in there.
fruit.
Are you an olive on the charcuterie board kind of guy?
Yes, because I fucking love olives.
I don't like
But not,
olives.
but not like black, just like General Kalamata olives. I'm not mailing that shit in. You give me some good olives, okay? I like blue cheese stuffed. That's not especially traditional for a charcuterie. It's something I like, so I'm gonna put that on there.
All right.
My crackers are a vehicle for the rest of the charcuterie. I don't want like super. I don't want the cracker to be the star of the show. The cracker is what you put everything on.
Okay. I
Get
still
your
think it's an
good
early
dried
pop.
meats.
I still think it's an early pop. I'm with Derek there.
I do too. I think it's
Okay.
just a little bit too soon for the charcuterie board.
It's fine.
Derek, you're on the clock.
Well, as always for Christmas, it's still tradition. You always got to have the pregame snack before the main thing. This can be used as part of the main meal too. It can be something you can have as a little appetizer, or you can have it as part of your main dish if you'd like. So, from the Pardon My Frenchies, we're going for, at the second pick, the honey baked ham.
Okay.
Yeah,
So technically, Derek, because you're doing that, you're taking the flex traditions.
Yeah, but I don't have the flex on my thing though. Do I just
you
have
do.
to?
So just fill it in, but you also get one more pick. You get one more traditions pick.
It's traditions.
Yeah, because you're taking.
Oh,
the
see,
flex
it's okay,
main.
okay. I see it now.
That's a strong second pick. That's a strong second pick there. But you get one more traditions pick.
Oh, so I go again.
Remember, it's 3 rounds of 2.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
That that's a good flex.
So with the tradition, this is the other thing too, and I don't know if it was on here. I haven't really looked. Something that
There is
we
an
would.
other.
Well, yeah, that's probably what's going to end up being. But something that we do with the family is we would go to church the night before Christmas, Christmas Eve church service. So I don't know if I see it.
I think there is evening mass.
Where's that? Did I? Oh, there it
Under
is. Yes,
NBA
yeah,
on
okay.
Christmas. Yep.
So yeah, we do the evening mass together. We go and do church together, do a candle ceremony and everything. So if we're gonna, since I have to make the 2 picks, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just the one. That was gonna be the early pop right there for me. But that's what I ended up doing. Is we go to church beforehand.
Listen, I think Derek came out swinging, taking the only main flex position. That's Dyer. What are your thoughts there? That's a strong move from the Frenchies.
I like it. The ham is again another versatile pick. It's another one of those too. I don't enjoy it as much when people make like the glazed honey ham. You know, it's fine. It's best the next day. You can do so much with that. Cut a little slice in it and fry it up.
Sandwiches,
Yeah, do a little
eggs.
ham and eggs for breakfast. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. You can chop that up, put it in omelets or something like that. Ham, very versatile as a leftover item. So I'm not hating on that. I don't love it as much for the main dish for the night, but as the holiday season progresses and you don't feel like cooking because you just did a bunch of cooking yesterday, you got this to fall back on. Very good pick.
So yeah, that's a tough one to follow. That's a good one there. That good job on that one. I got nothing to say there. That's a good pick. And you know what? You may have just switched my take here. Because I wasn't gonna do this. I was gonna go somewhere else. But
Turkey is the Ryan Leaf of drafts.
so
I saw that earlier and I started laughing. That was really good. Well played.
I wasn't going to do this early. I was not going to do this early, but Derek forced my hand here. Okay. I am going through traditions as well. All right. So the first tradition I'm taking, and some of you guys don't know what this is, and that's okay. But I do, and it's kind of on there for me. But we gotta throw it on there because everyone, we're inclusive here. Of course, half of my family is Jewish. I'm going with Jewish Christmas as my first take in the traditions segment. Derek and Dyer, are you guys familiar with Jewish Christmas?
I've heard
Have
the
you heard
term.
Jewish Christmas, not Hanukkah.
Jewish Christmas, not Hanukkah.
I've heard the term. I don't know what it is, and I'm interested to find out.
So Jewish Christmas is when people who are Jewish, surprisingly enough. Now I'm half, so I celebrate both. I'm spoiled, but what you do on Christmas as a practicing Jew, if it's not Hanukkah doesn't really matter for anything anyway, is you get Chinese takeout and you go to the movies.
Oh, I can get behind that.
That's what I'm saying. And Jewish Christmas can be done on Christmas Eve. So my family's not a big Christmas Eve family.
Does it have to be Chinese though?
No,
I'm not a big fan of Chinese food, to be honest.
It's traditionally Chinese food because they're the ones that are open. That's literally the
True,
reason.
true.
That's literally the reason. But it can be other takeout that's open on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. My family's done it frequently on Christmas Eve with my dad's side of the family. It's just an excuse for the family to get together. We'll go out to the movies, or we'll watch a movie as a family, order Chinese food, that kind of thing. It's a very laid back kind of thing, and it's a really cool tradition that not a lot of people know about. But I'm taking that. But the reason why I went there, is I'm gonna steal a flex here. Now, the flex I'm going for, I'm taking flex desserts. Why? Because we only take a total of 2 desserts. I like dessert. Okay. And there's a dessert on there that I have to make sure I get. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Maybe this is an early pick. I'm taking a gamble here because a lot of people don't like this. A lot of people do like this, but I'm taking flex desserts. Okay. So, and my flex dessert that I am taking is pecan pie.
I was gonna take that. God, last pick.
I love pecan pie. I need pecan pie. It is for me. It is a must have, and I get very upset if I don't get pecan pie. It's to the point where I have told my family that they can buy me pecan, however you want to say it. I say it both ways. Pecan pie. I have told my family I will be upset if I don't get this. So for me, this is an important pick for me. I understand it's controversial. I understand that Derek's gonna have something to say about this because I can see his reaction as he's eating his Taco Bell. But this also allows me to make sure that I get 2 other desserts on top of that I also really like.
I'm with Snag on this one too. Pecan pie is overrated as fuck.
I mean,
terrible.
Your career's overrated too, so
I'm not worried about that because pecan pie is extremely disappointing. It looks like cat food just molded together in a pie. That is disgusting. Again, I'm so happy that I'm eating Taco Bell, even though you kind of ruined my meal by saying that. It is terrible.
I love it. Dyer, this might be the first
There is
time.
no taste to
What
this.
do you mean there's no taste?
It
What
is
do you
terrible.
mean?
Coming from the guy that puts fucking ketchup on his macaroni and cheese.
Where do you get your
Correct. There's nothing wrong with
pies
that.
from? Wegmans? Like
No, they're
like-
trash. I don't get them. That's why. I'm not going to waste my time and get a terrible ass pie.
You got to get them homemade or from like a real place. You can't get them from a supermarket.
Or you can just not even get them.
Well, then you're missing out.
No, there's nothing to miss out.
That's okay. You're missing out.
It's a
You're missing
trash dessert. I hope to God I get more responses in my chat. So far, I've got one. I got somebody else that put, what's pecan pie? I mean, if you have 2 different names for your pie, pecan or pecan, it already tells me it's pea crap. That's what it is. It is terrible. That is a horrible
okay.
pie.
You listen.
That's
Dyer
like-
and I
that's-
for the
that's
first
almost
time
like
agree on a
saying-
food take, and
that's-
that's the important part here.
That's almost like saying people with 2 first names for a full name, they're psychotic. They're crazy, right? We've heard that before. This is terrible. That pie is trash. Pea crap pie. Gone.
You're so wrong. You are so wrong in every way. So wrong in every way here. But it's okay. I'm confident in my picks. Confident in that pick. Dyer, I think you like my pick here.
I love your pick because pecan pie, whatever you want to call it, pee on Derek's opinion because Derek has baby mouth. Okay, doesn't know good flavors. He puts ketchup on everything. All right. So what we're talking about, pecan pie, fantastic gelatinous Swedish filling, sweet, very sweet. You got the nuts on the top. You got some texture with that. So you got the contrasting textures with the flaky crust, the gooey filling, and the crunch of the nuts. Also, a little slight, just ever so slight salty edge in the crust. You can taste a little bit of that in there. It contrasts well with all the components of the dish. Pecans are a slightly sweet nut.
It seems that you just really care
It all
about the
works.
nuts. Why don't you put the mushroom stamp on your forehead with your pecan pie and the nuts in your mouth? That is trash. A terrible freaking pie. You're going to come at me and tell me that I put ketchup on mac and cheese. You eat Almond Joys. That's trash.
No, they're fantastic.
Trash candy, trash pie. Get out.
Delicious.
I
Delicious.
just think Derek's had some terrible pecan pie.
I see chat talking about a lot of pies that have no contrast in anything. It's just sweet on sweet and soft, no texture contrast ever.
Hear me
Get
out.
out of here.
Hear me out. Pumpkin pie is great. It's for Thanksgiving. It's for
Pumpkin pie.
Thanksgiving.
Pumpkin pie is overrated.
I,
Wildly overrated.
some is. Some I would agree that some are. I think the pre-bought
Most.
ones are terribly overrated. But I will also stand firm by the fact that pumpkin pie is Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving only. Fall time. Fall.
Pecan pie over pumpkin pie
Hands
all
down.
day, twice on Sunday.
No, listen, I understand that pecan pie is a controversial pick. You either love it or you hate it. I have never heard anyone say, "What do you feel about pecan pie or pecan pie?" Take it or leave it. No one's ever said that. It's either I love it or I hate it. It's one or the other.
I'm going to go out here again. Sweet potato pie, better than pumpkin pie. Piss on pumpkin pie.
Derek,
I like both of
round-
those, so that's good.
Round 3, you have the first overall pick.
Well, after seeing the disappointing pick that just happened, I can come in here and make a much better pick. The pardon my Frenchies are looking into the food category just to get things rolling. You can never go against some homemade cooking. And with that being said, we went ahead and drafted Sweet Mama's potato casserole. It's not on there, but
A scallop potato is the same thing.
okay, perfect. So
Yeah,
I had to
same
put
thing,
that in there. It is fantastic. Dyer, I'm not sure if you've ever had it before.
I know
But
what you're talking about. You talking about funeral potatoes?
is that what it's called?
There's like 17 different names for it. They're all basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Tell me, explain your dish, and I'll tell you if it's what I'm thinking.
It's got like there's cornflake crust on top, like
Yeah.
cornflakes,
Yep.
crispy. Okay.
Funeral potatoes.
Then
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So it falls under scallop potatoes au gratin, potato, casserole. It's all the same. It's
Yeah,
on the
well,
board for you.
I've never heard it that way. What'd you call it, Dyer?
Funeral potatoes.
Funeral potatoes.
They are good.
That's pretty
They're
cool.
quite
I
good.
like that.
They're quite good.
It is 100% hands down my favorite thing that anybody makes for any holiday, anytime,
Oh,
any
no.
social gathering. I will take a tray of funeral potatoes for myself. I don't know what you brought for everyone else. These are all mine.
I
what
like
you're-
that.
So what you're saying here, Dyer, is that you're upset with your draft team so far. They did not foresee 2 of your picks being taken early on. Do you have to have
You
a
know-
talk with? You have to have a talk with your scouts.
I didn't think quite honestly of funeral potatoes as a Christmas food, but it's not shoehorned into anything. You know, make it for everything. I was thinking of it for Thanksgiving or Easter. We always have it for as
Snag,
well.
not a fan.
Yeah, but the only thing I would say though too is, and that's fine with Snag. I don't care about him.
It's really not au gratin. It's
He's-
similar, but it's not the same.
He was they're not
It's
he.
very similar.
The only thing is you're right, Dyer. It kind of is like a different, you know, it's not necessarily a Christmas thing. We do it though. It's kind of like people doing macaroni and cheese for the holidays too.
Yeah.
Like I've never had macaroni and cheese on any holiday. We don't ever do
I
it.
know a lot of people who do though.
Right, and I do
That's
too
why it's
now.
on there. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a Southern thing or what, but then Dyer, do you do it?
mac and cheese? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So yeah, I think it might be a southern
I
thing.
know a lot of folks who do mac and cheese for both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So
And that's cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. Listen, I love a good mac and cheese. You're gonna make me mac and cheese. You're gonna make me funeral potatoes. As long as you do that shit right, I'm cool with it. Because that's something that's all. I'm always down for some mac and cheese, all day.
So I'm next, and I'm also going food. I know exactly where I'm going here. Again, might be a controversial pick. I don't think it's that controversial. I think most people just don't have these. Don't really know what they are. It's in the potato family.
I know what you're gonna take here.
And Dyer, I think, understands why I'm taking them too.
Yep.
Because they are so versatile. They're good. They're versatile. You can eat them as you're making them. They're good snacking food. They're great as a gravy, as a gravy like soak. They're great as, you know, so as essentially a fancy cracker if you want to put your turkey on that, your ham on it, whatever you want. It's a good plate filler. You can make a lot of them really easily. I'm going with potato pancakes, aka latkes, as my pick.
I've never really
Solid
had them,
pick.
so I can't go against you on that.
Not going to be a popular pick, but a solid pick. I think it's not popular because a lot of people don't know about it.
It is popular on the in with the what's the
I think you could have
Eastern
waited.
European states.
I think you could have
Yep.
waited on that pick.
I could have, but again,
I respect
I'm
it though.
going-
I'm not going to talk
Yeah,
shit because it's something I have never truly had, so I can't go against it.
let me explain to you what it is, Derek, just so you kind of
You do that while I'm eating.
just so you think of a thin hash brown, except homemade. So you basically shred the potatoes, and you pan fry them, put seasoning on top of them, all of that, and they're just like a little flat pancake. It's literally a potato pancake, and you can use them for anything. I've made tacos out of them.
So it's kind of like
Literal
a crepe.
tacos.
It's like a crepe, kind of.
It's thicker than a crepe.
Okay.
It's traditionally served with smoked salmon a lot, right?
Smoked salmon.
I can't eat salmon,
applesauce,
so we're good.
Sour cream, but you can literally put whatever you want on them. I have legitimately made tacos out of them. I have taken a potato pancake, a latke, and put like my turkey, mashed potatoes inside of it, whatever, and it is literally a soft shell taco. We had a potato. It's super versatile. And I know I could have waited on it, but it's a versatile food. And I'm trying to go for a strong class here. A strong class. And I think it's another versatile pick. And if I put this in front of you, Derek, you would never be like, I'm not eating that. It's just a potato pancake. It's awesome. It works. It's easy. But it is
It's
very
good.
popular. It is popular in like the like a Christmas, like those there are I do know that there are a lot of people of Polish descent, people of Russian descent. That's where it originated from, that area, who'd still make it regardless. It's not necessarily a fully Jewish thing. Also, you could find it in like Polish delis, that kind of thing. Highly recommend it if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, more of an Eastern descent type thing,
Yes, Eastern Europe, yeah.
right? Which is nothing wrong with that. Fantastic.
I respect it. I respect your pick. I think it's a good one. I'm not gonna downplay anything or talk shit on that one. I
It's like picking mashed potatoes.
yeah, I kind of respect it. I'm good with that.
Dyer, you're on the clock.
Indeed, I am.
Can't wait for you to
Yeah,
fuck
I
this one up too.
Fuck you. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with traditions on this one because
Get
this is
two.
one that's near and dear to my heart, and it's one that I think is a very Midwestern thing. It's a very Ohio thing, especially, and I'm going with A Christmas Story.
Remember, you get 2 out of this.
Are we talking the movie or just like you reading A Christmas Story? Like I want to just make sure I'm clarifying on what
So
I'm.
the tradition just says Christmas Story.
Yeah, you can take
So-
that.
So is
You
it?
could take
I'm taking that as the film classic.
film. It's also a
Christmas story.
book. It's a story. It's been read. People do it in plays.
I get that.
You remember you
Uh,
get 2 traditions.
Filmed at do I have to pick them both at the same time?
Yeah, so traditions work the
Shitballs.
same way. So remember how we did mini candies?
Yes.
It's the same thing. So instead of doing 2 rounds of 2, we're doing 3 rounds of 2. So
Gotcha.
you get 2 traditions. So you're going with the Christmas Story. That one is off the board in traditions.
So I'm struggling now between my next tradition. Christmas Story, the movie, fantastic. Literally like TBS. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but at least where I'm at, TBS plays it 24 hours
There's also
on a
like
loop.
3 different versions of it.
Of the movie?
Yeah.
The one with Ralphie and your shoot your eye out?
Well, there's the original one. Yeah, there's Ralphie, but then there's also been redone ones of it.
Oh, fuck all that noise.
Yeah.
No, we need the original. We need Ralphie. We need the dad cussing all over the place and the mom in denial about where Ralphie heard him cussing. Okay? That's what we need. That's like my life. Okay? So that for sure. That's always on the TV. Anybody changes the channel, I'm changing it back. Man, this second one is tough because I'm really a fan of a number of these. But I'm going to go ugly Christmas sweaters. That's my personality. I enjoy ugly Christmas sweaters. I like traditional ugly Christmas sweaters that weren't actually meant to be ugly, but they really are. One time, my cousin went to my grandmother at Thanksgiving and said, "I'm going to an ugly Christmas sweater. Can I look in your closet to see if there's anything I can wear to this party?" And my grandma was so pissed because she wears these crazy ass sweaters, but she doesn't see them as ugly Christmas sweaters. It's just what she wears. But everybody always kind of snickers a little bit. Anyway, that's my own thing. Ugly Christmas sweaters. I have one that's my mainstay. It's a Game of Thrones Christmas sweater that has the Christmassy theme decoration on the sweater and all of the sigils of the houses of Westeros, and it says "Joy to the Realm" on the front in big letters.
Like that.
I wear that every single year to my kids. We took them to see Santa Claus last weekend. I wore this sweater, and that's what I'm going with. I love it. Ugly Christmas sweaters and Christmas Story. Can't go wrong with both of them.
I really like a good a good ugly Christmas sweater. So I like your picks. I always respect the tradition. It's gonna be hard to go against anybody's tradition because it is tradition.
Now there are some traditions in here that aren't tradition, more just things that happen on Christmas,
Which I
or
get.
the holidays. So because we gotta include all of that.
Sure.
We gotta include all. That's why there's things like Drunk Uncle on there, Drunk Family. Everyone has a good Christmas story about that.
That's
Or
just
a
me.
good family gathering story. You know, the political argument. Everyone has a good Christmas story about that too. There's always has to be something that happens at a family gathering. Always has to be.
Political argument was always fun up until 2016, and then it got
it got a
personal. And it was,
See, the fun political arguments now are ones among people who have the same general belief, but there's one thing that's different that they can't agree on.
Right.
And there's a lot of that argument gets to Derek. I get what you're saying. I agree with you, and those are the fun ones because it's like they get really heated over one little thing, and I'm just
Right.
sitting there with my drink, just like y'all really arguing about that thing.
You agree
Continue.
on 98% of what you're talking about, but this one thing is what you're going to argue for
Yeah.
60 minutes.
I love it, and they go so
Somebody
in-depth.
might get angry and leave.
And you're just sitting there, Dyer, you're sitting there slowly cutting your turkey up, just going, kids, don't listen, but daddy's going to. And you start keeping score in your head. You're like, you know, Gary made a good point there, but he just lost it with that. I don't know. Those are the fun ones.
That's like where you make a phone call to somebody else that was there but not involved with the argument, like the next day after everybody leaves. They're like, all right, so we're going to recap this. And you know what? Steve really made a good point when he talked about X, but John had a great counterpoint there. And I don't know. This is a very interesting dialogue that happened.
Not wrong. You're not wrong. I like that.
We don't really have political arguments at my house.
Listen, it
But
happens.
I respect it. If that's something that everybody does, that's just how it is.
So the order for this round will be myself,
Damn it.
Derek, Dyer,
I just
That's
continue
just
to be right in the middle.
which is not a bad place to be.
No, I know. I respect
No,
it.
you got the first pick last one.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm torn here because traditions is deep, But like, there's a ton of food and a ton of dessert choices. I feel like I can get away with leaving food and desserts for a little bit. There's also multiple movies there. Like, I think I'm gonna go back to traditions. I think I'm going back to traditions. Got another 2 picks off the board here. Again, maybe it's out there. Some people, I care about this. This is something for me that I really stand by. Again, other people don't. It kind of has to come down to your own personal situation here. But my first tradition I'm taking is real tree. There is something about having a real Christmas tree as opposed to having a fake Christmas tree. I much prefer the real tree, and I understand the people who don't like real trees. Yeah, you gotta water them, you gotta take care of them, they die, you gotta get rid of them. I understand that, but the smell of pine is awesome. The like picking the tree out, like going out with your family, going to the Christmas tree place and picking out the tree is awesome. And there's always a debate between siblings as to which tree's better, who found the best tree. You know, there's that. For me, that's when the holiday really starts. I pick the tree, put it back on the car, we're driving home, listen to Christmas music. That to me is like great tradition. Again, I understand if you like your tree out of a box, I think you're wrong, but I think real trees the way to go there. Now, as for my second tradition, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky for me. But I am gonna go. Again, has to do with where I live, with the Christmas light drive. I love a good Christmas light drive. 1, I love driving. 2, I live in an area where there are certain people whose neighborhood looks very similar to Derek's, and they go all fucking out. It is a dick swinging contest of Christmas tree lights. And let me tell you, it is fun to get in the car, go with a girl, go with a friend, go with the family, put some good music on, drive around and just see the lights, and also make fun of those people for spending tens of thousands of dollars on their light display. I love it. I think it's 2 things that if you've never been on a Christmas light drive, you should go on one. I guarantee you, near you, there's a neighborhood or an area that's a really good place to go.
I can't argue with either one of those. Now, granted, I'm a fake tree, just never really got into the real tree. I think having the dogs, I think that was our big issue is, you know, you don't want them to piss on it. But that was a big thing I can definitely agree with, though. I do love the smell of the trees. But also, I really liked your pick of the Christmas lights. We do that as a family. We would drive around. We haven't done it as much, obviously, you know, we had relationships, you know, I was dating. So it was like something that was something I would do with my significant other. And you know, I don't have kids, so I'm assuming that would be something that Dyer does with his. So it's tough to go against what you put out there. I like what you picked. I think those are good choices. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't scroll down far enough, so I missed a lot of these. I definitely would have taken real tree, because that's one thing that we always did when I was growing up. It was like an event, you know, we'd all look forward to going and picking out the tree. And I don't remember ever having a bad time picking a Christmas tree. I'm sure they were there, but as a child, I always enjoyed it. And it's something that I still enjoy doing now with my own family. And there always just seems to be something like my 2 oldest kids aren't really into it as much anymore, or at least right now. I don't know. It's just not their thing. They don't really care about it. But they run around and play hide and seek. They don't care about picking out the tree, but they're laughing and having a good time. And there's one, it was my youngest daughter's second Christmas. She was born in June. So when she was about 1.5, she was just walking and not really saying a whole lot, but she was, you know, aware as a 1.5-year-old is. And I'm cutting this Christmas tree down. I'm sawing at it with this dull fucking handsaw that they give you at the thing, because they can never sharpen those, of course.
Nope.
They're always the worst saws that you can imagine. And I'm cussing, and Ellen's taking a video of me, and she's laughing. And my daughter walks up and bends down and just pats me on the top of the head real soft, like, "It's okay, Dad." That's the funniest shit in the world. And Ellen's laughing. It's like the best video. I love it. I'll have to find it and send it to you guys because it really is funny. Because you can tell, like I'm hacking at this fucking tree, and I'm doing it with all of the salt and anger in my body, and she's laughing, and my child is like trying to console me. It's a classic Americana of a family going to cut down a tree. I guess I don't know. It's just funny.
I also feel like real trees fill the space better than a box tree. I feel like most of the box trees are very like narrow, not narrow, but like very don't look real, like don't look tree like. Where like you get a plump Christmas tree, you can. For me personally, the real tree is a must.
This year, maybe it's a little bit skinnier. Next year, it's a little taller. It's a little shorter. You know, you got to position it the right way so everybody knows that the shitty part goes in the back.
Well, and Dyer, you always have to go for the Douglas fir.
Yeah, that's the one with the short needles.
Short, soft needles.
Yep. Yes.
See,
and it's kind of got that different little tint to it.
Everybody who hunts for a real tree has their own version of the hand pat on the branches, where they think about their heaviest ornament. And they go, I don't know. It's a little, seems a little loosey here. I don't know if it's gonna hold the ornament. I don't know. You gotta look at the tree spread where the bald spot is.
Yep.
You know, if you use a topper, where the topper is. Real quick, Derek, has our audio gone out on your end? Someone's saying the audio may have gone out.
No, it. I think audio. No, because I've got all the stuff's on. Every time you guys talk, it comes up.
People in Derek's chat, let me know if you guys can hear what we're saying. If it's just you, you may have to refresh your stream.
Yeah, that would be the only thing.
Does happen.
You said it was my pick, huh?
It is your pick now.
Well, there were so many different things that I could do here. The one thing that it stands out, it's something that to me it is tradition. It's
multiple people saying they have no audio.
They have no audio. Refresh the stream. Refresh the chat. I'm trying to see if